because it's Indigenous round. As Nick Grewalt heads to the middle of the ground. Celebration day for the Indigenous here in Brisbane. And Nick Grewalt walks to the middle where the big R is for recognise the first Australians.
Right, Stephen doing the toss today. Nick.
Shakes the hand.
All right, Nick, your call.
Alan Christensen, one of the Brisbane Lions Indigenous players from Lara.
Thanks, Stephen.
And
Enjoy the
it's
day.
kicking to the left of the screen. Nick Grewalt winning the toss as we head back down to Cameron Mooney.
Thank you very much, Dwayne. And as we said before, very hot weather down here at the moment, 23 degrees. But look, we just saw the grab from Alan Richardson talking about what kind of side they want to be. What's their identity? What's their brand? Well, they're a pressure. They're an elite pressure team this year. They're equal first in the competition. They get up in your face. They tackle. They harass. They chase from behind. They want to put enormous pressure on you. Jack Stevens, that man right there, number 3, a best and fairest winner. Great leader for their footy club. He is the best in their side. Looking more from him, Armitage, these types of guys to make sure they get the ball down to their big skipper today.
Gustav Moons, there is an expectation here that this will be a close contest. It's a hard one to pick, this one, between these two teams, which is fantastic. Rewald's back. 4 ins for the Saints from last week's team, so that's massive.
And it's great to see Nick Grewalt back, isn't it, Dwayne? There was a little bit of conjecture whether he would come back after the heavy knock. He's had a few in the last 3 or 4 years, but it would have been sad if that was the last time we saw Nick Grewalt playing. It's fantastic. I'm really excited to see him run around. He's still running around like a young bloke, Jono.
Yeah, I love the way he still gets up on the wings, and he was out doing his normal warm-up a couple of hours before the game, ready to go, and they've gone reasonably tall. They've got a good mix, I think, actually. They've got Rewald, Hickey, and then Bruce down there, and then they've got Schneider, Billings, and Loney at the feet. So good setup for the Saints.
I think we'll see Nick Grewalt get his 300th game up before his career ends. This is game 286. And it's great to have your company wherever you might be watching around the land. We're underway at the Gabba. Longer and Stephen Martin in the ruck. Zorko gets the first touch out to Robertson and Robertson, and of course there's a Robertson, a Robinson and a Roberton out there this afternoon, so we'll try to identify those a little more accurately than it might sound on occasions. Stephen gets to his feet.
One to watch will be Daniel Rich, who tags him. Looks like Armitage on him at the moment, Dwayne.
Yeah, certainly side by side now, and Rockcliffe gets a little 1-2 with Rich, a little too slick. The handball back, Schneider later tackle, Harwood, one of the ins. Tackled, dropped it, you know what that means.
That's what the Saints have been good at. Although they've been getting beat around the footy the last couple of weeks, their effort and their intensity to close down the opposition is what allows them to get some good, fluent movement forward.
They do put a lot of pressure on the opposition, don't they, Jono?
Well, they have to. Yeah. I think that's the grounding for their game, isn't it, in terms of put that opposition on. Yeah, we mightn't have the talent every single week, but ultimately, if we can put that pressure on, we stay in the contest. And they've had that big comeback a few weeks ago against the Bulldogs.
Montagna short to his old mate Schneider. Does get the kick away, and they've got the spare man. Bruce. Caught, good tackle. Dragged down Geary. Not 15, so Claybeam's told to keep going. Louis Taylor, Paparone. And Taylor short to Christensen.
Got back into form the last couple of weeks. He's moved up to the wing, Dwayne, and he's responded with a lot of kicks in the last couple.
He's been a good pickup. Geelong only got pick 21 for him. They traded him kindly as a lifestyle issue, not just a trade issue. They tried to do the right thing by him. And Nunes comes up with it inside 50, and he sprays the kick.
That's their chance to capitalise, isn't it, the Saints, from the slow play out of defence for the Lions, where they just don't have the really big couple of tools to take those big contested marks on the out. That's where they can capitalise, the Saints, with the turnover.
So Rich to Adcock, to Robertson. Green, you knew he wanted to go. They've got the spare man inside 50. Leuenberger in his 100th, hands it up beautifully, and the goal slotted by Robinson.
No, it's very good there, Dwayne. Well done there by the Brisbane Lions. Really fast transition from a kick out. Able to get the ball into Daniel Rich's hands. You see this? Nick Robertson keeps the ball moving. Green knows that Leuenberger is free. He was free for a long time. They almost didn't get the ball to him cleanly enough, Dwayne, but they're able to finish off. Justin Leppich will be very happy with that style of play. Good ball movement, good clean skills. It's a good sign for the Lions.
And you mentioned Alan Christensen settled into some form. Mitch Robinson, they picked him up as a delisted free agent, and he's starting to find his feet a bit. Can be inconsistent, but he goes hard at it. You've got to love that. And the big unknowns in the middle doing the ruck work. Stephen Martin, who can get a 3 vote going on his best day as well. To Rich. Keeps it low. Leuenberger kept it in front. Green, beeline to Christensen. And he can't bend that around enough.
You're right with Martin, though, Dwayne. That's his strength, I think, at the moment. The confidence to spread from the centre. Look, he was involved the second time then after the ruck contest. And that's what he needs to do, because he can rack up your 20 disposals. He has a number of hit-outs to advantage, but then he can go forward and kick a goal.
And there's that battle as well with Longer, Billings, Armitage, and Riewold's free. And now Bruce is free if Riewoldt gets it on. Goes with a shorter to Loney. Bruce still free on 50. Schneider. And good smother Paparone. Loney tried to beeline it. Lester got it back. Clark put into the grass.
Missed opportunity from the Saints. They had the overlap play happening, and Bruce just couldn't get back off the mark quick enough to get the ball inside 50 to Schneider.
Lewis Taylor.
At the moment, Marco Paparone matching up on Nick Riewoldt, which is a big ask. You see the two coaches there.
What's his endurance like, Brownie?
Paparone's endurance is very good, and that may be the reason why he's playing on Riewoldt. We know Riewoldt's 15, 16 Ks a game is fantastic. And Paparone's really improved his marking abilities, especially his contested marking this season. So it's a good challenge for the young fella. No doubt that matchup will change a little bit throughout the day, but it'll be one to watch.
So from the ball up, Martin out to Zorko. And umpire said he didn't keep it alive. It'll be a ball in back where he was. Billy Longer. As you see Webster on the bench getting some work done. We'll go back at it with Martin just standing off him.
Brisbane employing a small forward line. Matt Leuenberger is the full forward, but apart from that, they've got Green, Christensen, young Dawson and Mitch Robinson. So they'll need to provide plenty of run.
The two ruckmen tie up. And it's against Longer. Brisbane had him as a pick 8, traded him to the Saints for picks 25 and 41. We'll be trying to make an impression today as Martin goes wide and just picked up by Dame Beams. Zorko.
Already just slow, controlled, just trying to hit up and maintain possession of the Lions. That's a risky kick.
And Claybeams gets there, but cut off by Hickey. He spears that back towards attacking 50. Aish got it from Clark, and they're away. Zorko with a bounce. Robinson. He's got Buick inside 50 and he couldn't hit him. Taken down was Christensen. Good attack. Close to the boundary. Nguyen's content to see it out.
Moons, that's exactly what you spoke about in the pre-game, where their entries going in forward 50. One, they had Leuenberger out earlier, didn't hit him on the full. That one, Christensen was by himself.
Well, I guess the good thing about that one there is at least Robinson wasn't trying to bomb the thing high in the air. He was trying to hit a target. Look, unfortunately, the foot skills just let him down on that occasion. But look, 2 bad inside 50s from them this week already. It's something you don't want from. At least they got a goal out of one of them.
So Adcock sticks it up, top of the square. No one home. Little knockdown didn't quite work from Geary. Akers. Riewoldt all the way down on defensive 50. Paparone beats him this time. Harwood. Stephen Martin. And it is 15. Buick.
It's noticeable, though, isn't it? They are trying to look low rather than that high ball, which Moons mentioned last week against the Bombers. Hurley and Hooker and these guys just rebounded on a regular basis.
Exactly right, and that's what you should. You need to try and lower the eyes. Under pressure, guys are just going to bomb it long. Obviously, that's been the focus this week, and especially even more so with a smaller forward line, Jono.
Been in and out of the side almost all his career, Rowan Buick. And that's delightful. Magnificent start, Brisbane Lions.
Late inclusion today.
Yeah.
But why is he out of the side so often, Brownie?
Well, certainly towards the end of last year, he really made his name in the side by playing a role on the opposition's best midfield, especially those outside midfielders. Went away from that early on in the season. That may be a reason why he's come into the side. There's a lot of dangerous midfielders for St Kilda, we know. Obviously, Armitage is there. Stephen and Snyder especially as well have got a lot of pace. So maybe he'll get a match-up as the day wears on.
Glad you asked that question, Jono. I think that's a question that a lot of people have asked about Rowan Buick over time.
Because you see the quality, Dwayne. That's the thing. It's just the consistency of that quality on a regular basis. Because his high-end ability is 3 or 4 goals a week and your 20-odd disposals.
And he can take a mark forward.
It's a big leap.
Oh, yeah, it's a big leap.
So already a bit of blood spilt, and this should be a tight contest all afternoon. Rich wobbles it inside 50. Little nudge to the back, not paid. Leuenberger, Zorko, Rich, Lewis Taylor, Daniel Rich, who can kick a long ball. They got 3.
Terrific kick, great start by the Lions.
Out of the middle of the ground too, Brownie, Daniel Rich. So he got the kick out and then pushed forward. And I'm loving the energy of Leuenberger up forward as well. He picks up a good ground ball here.
He does, fantastic. He can contribute in this regard, but you see Daniel Rich, how many times we've seen him do this at the Gabba? Sets up Louis Taylor, back to Rich, off one step, bang. He's got a very powerful left foot kick. It does surprise me early on that Richo has decided to not put a match up on him, I suppose. Be interesting to see where well it gets to him.
Jed Adcock on the phone and Daniel Rich on the padding having a rest. And a chat to Brett Burton. Play on advantage allowed. Leicester loads up. Buick can't get back and Robertson takes a good grab.
Brownie, right now, well, it looks like he's playing as a half forward or a high half forward. I'd be sending him straight to Rich right about now. He's looking extremely dangerous through that middle of the ground.
Yeah, Stephen G sat that on Nunes. Harwood cut it off, could almost have marked it.
Harwood back into the side, Dwayne. He's had a fair bout of groin problems and osteitis pubis early in the season. They'll really look to him to provide a lot of run and bounce off halfback.
Well, they're up to Dane Beams, boys.
He's been around a while, 6 seasons now for Harwood. One of those that have been waiting for his time, been in and out quite a few occasions. Good attack, Armitage. Christensen over him.
You see Nick Riewoldt up on the, seems to be up on the wing, certainly in behind this contest. Interesting to see whether he plays much on the wing today. He has done that earlier on this season.
Stephen Martin flicked it out.
This is where they've been dominant, Dwayne. 7 clearances to 0 in the early part.
Yep. Andrews short to Christensen. Aish.
You're right, 53 possessions to 22 at the moment, Jono, in Brisbane's favour.
Andrews switches. Riewoldt gets the fist away, but now we'll go and fetch it unless Paparone or the boundary line beats them both.
So I think the Saints have done well.
No?
Yeah, he does, which is good. Back into the lineup, the skipper.
Well,
but
it was a while ago that he was let know here at the Gabba Brownie, of course.
About 10 years ago, courtesy of Mal Michael and Chris Scott, 2 pretty quiet individuals, Dwayne. Yeah. Very gentle characters.
Yes. Saints fans have got long memories. Billings out wide to Stephen. Now Bruce and Hickey inside 50. Lines with the numbers. Harwood. Dane Beams. Little fumble by Buick. Keeps it alive. Robertson. Fend off. Advantage paid. And it opens up. Lewis Taylor. Open space ahead for Adcock. He's got Zorko running hard. And he can keep running hard. Size them up. He goes to the goal square. Rich just back on and slots his second.
Yeah, you can see that unfold a long way out, Dwayne, being here at the ground. And Brisbane are really starting to share the ball well. They're not bombing away, sharing it amongst each other. And St Kilda are really getting out of place here. You watch these defenders. Brisbane running back away from the ball carrier, I suppose, to really open up space and force the St Kilda defenders to have to leave their man and come forward to try and defend. That leaves Daniel Rich on his own out the back. Great finish.
the midfielders are setting the tone for the Lions. Their power run so far in this game has been at the highest quality. A lot of those players that were involved then came from half-back, so they burst across the ground. Some push forward like Daniel Rich to find space.
Back into the ruck, Longer and Leuenberger into the middle now. Armitage got it up just in time. Shenton, Schneider. And he hit a target. Not with that. Dunstan. That's the trouble when you don't hit a target. Rockcliffe goes back to Beams, and they can reload the Lions after the turnover. A little overzealous for the tackle on Zorko.
Let's try and settle it down now.
Leuenberger. Been around a long time too, Leuenberger. Game 100 finally. 5 games last year, just 3 games 2012. Had a lot of injuries.
This is where they struggle. They've got no one down the line here, so they need Matthew Leuenberger to get down the line. Jed Adcock will be reluctant to go there, but he'll try and go shorter. No, he's had to go long. Good contest by young Dawson.
Weller goes back. Bump on the Geary kick, and that works. And Geary gets a little clap in his face from Green.
Green told him about it.
John, I'm just looking at Weller now. Looks like the move has been made. Looks like he is going to run with Rich now for the rest of this quarter.
Well, he's the one causing all the problems for the Saints at the moment, and that's going to be where Weller's going to have to be flexible, because he's going to have Beams at times, and he's going to have to go to Rich. So
that was ugly.
Well, that's right, and Beams is, you know, even if he's got a tagger on him, he usually gets his 30 possessions anyway. He gets a lot of them inside. Daniel Rich can really hurt you on the outside, and especially with his kicking. We know he can kick the ball 60 metres. The Lions will try and get the ball into his hands around goal.
Leuenberger protected. Lewis Taylor. A little bit of ear. Armitage. Montagna. Now Rewalt one-on-one. Paparone does well again. Keeps it in front. Does brilliantly. Harwood. Stolen. Dunstan. They need this. And they don't get it.
At the moment, it's interesting because both teams are playing ruckman as full forwards, or certainly deeper. To be able to do that, though, and playing small forwards, you need to be able to use the ball well and share it, not bomb long. Brisbane's been able to get on top and share the ball and use short possession at the moment, Jono. So it's working for them, but for St Kilda, it's not. They just haven't had enough ball flow at the moment.
Few players haven't really warmed into it just yet. Lee Montagna, one of those. Back into play. Martin down. Armitage. Akers. Hickey stands under it. Harwood.
that's what you're talking about there, Brandon. I think that's the key. Brisbane at the moment are getting run from the stoppage to be able to use that ball short. Where the Saints are trying to work out their stoppage work at the moment, not being so clean in that area. Therefore, bombing it long and high, which is suiting the spares for the Lions.
Especially Rewald playing up the ground a fair bit.
Stephen Martin took him on. Rockcliffe. Lester. Within range. Another that's been in and out most of his career.
Slipped forward the last couple of weeks a few times, starting mainly midfield, but he has been able to take a couple of marks, and he's a bigger midfielder, so the Lions would be hoping he can bring this to the table. We can finish this shot.
So this for a 5-goal to nil start. Opens up the angle. Gets plenty on it. And this is getting dangerous now for the Saints.
Smart play in the end in terms of just knowing his distance and what he needed to do to hit the ball with accuracy. And he was able to do it here. But here's that run again, the overlap run, and then you got Rockcliffe just using the ball in short to the lead up of Leicester, taking it at the highest point. And then he went back, and it was a good set shot. He understood that he needed to play on. He knew the distance around him, that he had the ability to do that. Went back, and they're on fire at the moment. 5 goals straight to the Lions.
(39-17), the handball received, so that's a fair indicator that the Lions are really running from behind, going well.
Hickey against Martin. Shenton got there first, back to Hickey. McKenzie, and now Weller. Paparone wanted to hold him up. Loney.
That's better by St Kilda.
Billings. Rewalt and Bruce are both back there.
Oh.
Huge fly over the top. Harwood, he's hurt himself. Aish. Still down Harwood. Lewis Taylor tries to shimmy. Found some space where there was none. Likewise, Aish. Sends it out in the Leicester and Weller direction. Paparone content to see it out. And he's still down Harwood.
It was a big leap, wasn't it? He's like got his legs taken out from underneath him on the ride.
I think all our eyes are on Josh Bruce, weren't they?
They were.
Ryan Harwood came from nowhere.
Rewalt was coming back with the flight as well. Just gets a launch.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Lucky.
Good to see Rewalt's learned his lesson from a couple of weeks ago, just running, flying back into the back of the pack.
Oh, yeah, landed awkward there, the neck. Very lucky.
I don't think Rewalt's going to change his game style, Moons.
No, we will hope not, let's be honest.
Paparone heads wide. Second effort from Webster to Weller. Geary, Akers. We're going backwards to go forwards here. So it opens up. Roberton. Dempster. Bruce all the way up to the wing now. And that lead's ignored. He goes to Rewalt. Good hard lead. Good half volley. Great tackle. Dispossessed. Oh, holding too long.
Still, Alan Richardson be disappointed there, though. Nick Rewalt end up 3 against 1 there. Just, it shows a little bit, Jono, that I'm not sure St Kilda's work rate's been high enough at the moment. They're not getting numbers to the contest. That's been evidence around the clearance. Brisbane have been able to run it out too easily at the moment.
Akers being hunted down and a little nudge to the back. That's okay. Trouble again. Beams lines them up. Bouncing ball across the face from Dane Beams. Another massive opportunity.
Thought he was pushed right in the middle of the back there when having that shot on the run. It was a smart kick, wasn't it? Inboard, because there was nothing forward. It was an open goal square, but Saints would have been first back. It was a smart kick to get that ball back into the corridor to Beams.
Webster. Shenton. Montagna touched. Get out of trouble. Dunstan inboard. He loads up. Bruce down there. Good fist away though. Tough hard attack from Dunstan and Clark.
Good contest.
Yeah, it was interesting. They both looked as if they put their head down and didn't turn their body. Schneider goes central. They need a break. Rewalt. Just the kind of break they were after.
Fair difference there. Rewalt on Louis Taylor.
Yeah, well, but that's the transition, because Paparone had to cover Bruce, and then no one covered for him and went to Rewalt as he was flowing back down the middle of the ground. So Louis Taylor did his best, but it was always going to be difficult once the high ball come in. This is the contest here. Dunstan and Clark both just going for it. It was high.
Clark really held up, and
yeah, he did.
Dunstan rammed into him in the motion. I would probably say play on. They call that a captain's goal. First goal for the Saints.
It's been a point of contention. These decisions, these head-eye decisions, fantastic for Nick Rewalt to be able to get forward and key a goal in his comeback. Was able to float down nicely. You just see him inboard in the centre corridor. Jumps over Louis Taylor. For some reason there, he lost his matchup. Was able to go back and finish with a nice one. That head-high contest is an interesting one. Sometimes I think the umpires feel like they're compelled to make a decision, Jono.
Well, the umpire did. There was a small hesitation from the umpire. It wasn't an initial bang, whistle, blind. There was a slight hesitation. I think he looked at it, thought about it, high, and it went the Saints' way.
Stephen Martin to Rockcliffe. Leicester. Lewis Taylor goes back.
Brownie, you spoke about the Saints' work rate. Sorry, Dwayne, you spoke about the Saints' work rate. There's no question, and you'd know this better than anyone, the heat up here is doing a little bit of damage to St Kilda. They're coming off. They've got their hands in their heads. They're looking up to the sky. They're absolutely exhausted. They've got the wet towels all around their heads at the moment. So I think that's taken a little bit of sting out of them.
It's a good point. It is a bit unseasonally humid today.
It was taking it out of them now. Moons, what's he going to do in the last half? Still the first quarter.
I think that's a tactic of the Lions to hold on to possession of the ball, make them run, and try and break them early, which they've been able to do so far in this game.
Adcock kicks long, splendid kick, goal square, Dawson, no free. Front on contact, umpire said he got all Sharon, no free. Aish.
Just no run here by St Kilda, Dwayne. No run spread from their midfield.
Robert and White. Paparone. Hickey with a second grab. Delaney. Stephen. Nunes. Armitage about to get caught. Turns back inside to Rewalt. Again, a poor pass. He had to half volley it. Back to Armitage. And right on 50, Dunstan. Montagna, 3 metres closer to goal.
Dwayne, just quickly, sorry boys, Zach O'Brien is going to come on, so he's taken the vest off down here. Harwood, I would dare say, would be having a 20-minute test, so Zach O'Brien, vest off.
Back into the lineup, Zach O'Brien, yes. Brownie, after telling the assistant coach. Well, I'll let you explain the story very shortly, actually. You can tell us from the Brisbane Lions point of view what really did happen. Montagna about to slot this, though, from 50, no, to the near side.
Yes, no, he did. He had words, gave a little bit of advice to one of the assistant coaches, Dwayne, in the reserves game a couple of weeks ago. Justin Leppage was in the vicinity, and Leppard just took him aside and just had a quiet word to him and just told him who was boss. But it was reported that Leppard grabbed him by the throat, but that certainly wasn't true. They had a discussion behind closed doors, and we all move on.
His suspension's over, and he's straight back in after 40-plus possessions in the NEFL last week. Buick about to run on. 4 minutes to quarter time. Heads to Leicester. Good one hand.
Yeah, and both Lepper and Zach O'Brien have got a really good relationship. Both, no doubt, very passionate about the footy club. But they've moved on really well from it, Jono.
You know what? Coaches are calculated, and sometimes you've got to show that strength. And he was probably looking for a response from O'Brien. Hey, you're not doing that, but now I need you to put your head down and work. And he got that because he had 41 in the NEFL last week.
Yeah, he's really responded.
The players themselves as a team have responded as Leicester puts this through. They've lifted their rate since that incident.
Well, they've won 3 out of the last 4. You can see Justin Leppage there with his one of his main assistants, Danny Daly, who looks after the stoppages in the midfield. Brisbane are really good here. You just see a nice little mark there by Buick, who's come into the side. Was a late inclusion with Darcy Gardner coming out. They've just let the play unfold today, the Brisbane Lions. They've had really good run and spread from their midfield. Ryan Lester started to add this string to his bow the last couple of weeks. He's been able to go forward, take a couple of marks. That's his second goal for the day.
They still haven't thrown one back, the Saints. They've got Shenton at centre-half back, but he's just going to charge in off the back of the square by the looks of things. So still expecting their mids to win enough ball to get it forward.
Dunstan tried the slick handball, so did Beams. Zorko run down from behind and holding the ball.
Just wonder whether it's worth putting one of the ruckmen behind the play. Right. The Hickey throwing behind the play as a 7th defender, just to shore that defence up a little bit. We know they can come from behind, Dwayne. They came from behind 55 points against the Bulldogs a few weeks ago.
Good point. I don't think Jono was all that happy with the reminder, though.
But this game started off very similar to that. So the St Kilda midfield had no energy, but let's see how they go now.
3 minutes to quarter time. Neither ruckman got a touch initially. Longer slaps it down. Dane Beams did stay in. Akers. Webster. Good tackle, Green.
Starts with the midfield, I think, for the Saints at quarter time. That's where the message has to come to them to start to find a bit more football. Because at the moment, 109 disposals to 78. It's just too much ball in the Lions' hands. Yeah. They need to man up better around the ground, restrict uncontested marks, and that's how they could possibly get some run going.
Armitage held.
Had a fantastic year to date, David Armitage. I'd say he'd be in line for the All-Australian if he keeps going at this track.
Akers in Rewald's direction. He's up and he clean missed it. Lewis Taylor. Paparone, great smother. Billings takes it out.
That's good, and it starts with that forward pressure, don't it? Lock it into your forward 50, Jono. Set up, got a boundary thrown, restart, and this is a real strength for St Kilda. You got young Jack Billings there, but there's a few of the Jacks in that forward line that are really dangerous in these situations.
Zorko, quick hammer towards the boundary, out on the full. Robertson to take it.
Getting plenty of balls, Zorko, just not as clean as he would like and what he usually is in the early part of the game.
Haven't seen Bruce have an impact yet. Doesn't launch it in that direction. Delaney. He's trying to pull a few Brisbane Lions defenders out. Akers. And now it sits up. Rewald from 4 deep this time. Off hands Weller. Handball is good. Hickey. Rewald from the line. Both their goals to their captain.
And that's the lesson for Paparone right there, because Rewalt was in that contest when Weller went front and square. The next thing he's in the goal square, or is it Clark who's in front of Rewalt? You just can't let him go. And he's able to run through that contest between a couple of Brisbane players. And that's the lesson there. Once the contest is done, these champions, you've just got to stay with them and continue to work back, because they see the opportunity.
Exactly right. Justin Clark will see that on the replay and be disappointed. But his work rate is probably, arguably it's been the best in the competition for a long time, hasn't it? For a guy who's 6'4" and probably 100 kilos to be able to run the distance he runs, it's amazing.
Showing no signs of the concussion he's been out because of.
And he's showing no signs of slowing down with his leg speed either, is he, Dwayne? I think he's probably 33 this year, Jono, maybe, and he still gets around the ground really well. He's probably lost a little bit of weight in the last year or two to help that.
Well, he thinks he's still got at least 2 years left. Or hoping for 2 years left. Good tackle laid.
I think it's
Akers
important.
drags him down.
It's important, Dwayne, especially a fantastic mentor for young Josh Bruce, Paddy McCartan as well.
Yep.
What better man to teach him, and hopefully he gets to 300 games. He'll keep playing next year, Dwayne.
Yeah, and he's up there, one of the top 20 goal kickers of all time as well. Beams feeds it back. There's O'Brien, the full 360. So, as you were told by Cameron Mooney, the sub is now on. Crowd roaring.
Go for number 3.
Yeah, he might. He thought about it. He thought about passing. The last one he thought he was too far out, and he had to run around on the angle to get the extra distance. This time he's more distance out.
Snyder's picked it up this time.
Exactly the same angle. Here he goes, and that's perfect.
Great from Snyder.
Yeah.
Fantastic work.
Is that play on though, Jono?
Rockcliffe, it won't matter. Cue the Rocky music.
Well, the umpire called play on. So
Still got to be 5 metres away from it, though, don't you guys?
No, the umpire, Snyder was working with the umpire here. But yeah, he seemed to move. He seemed to be very close, didn't he, Snyder?
Yeah, he did. I just wonder, we know Buddy Franklin steps a long way out when he has his shots, but that's part of his kicking action. Ryan Lester certainly had a big shot out, but nice finish by Tom Rockcliffe. He's got great goal sense. He'll spend a fair bit of time forward at the moment directing in the midfield, but see there, Tom Rockcliffe, he's been fantastic. But yeah, it'll be an interesting one, maybe one to look at later on, Jono.
Yeah, definitely, but Snyder to identify that, I think, is he's just knowing the game and knowing how the game's unfolding. Yeah, it is.
And the ball up. 25 seconds left, and they still want back. Stephen runs to 50, and that's horrible. Really big for their momentum heading into quarter time. Still that one back. Daniel Rich will take the majority of these seconds off the clock here. Just pokes it to Buick. So quarter time at the Gabba. Round 9 clash between two teams on the rebuild, trying to make a statement that their season is still alive, and a win today would at least give them some hope that their season certainly is. And the Brisbane Lions at home, a 7-2 opening term lead by 28. start from the Brisbane Lions on a hot and muggy afternoon in Brisbane. They were brilliant early, kicked the first 5 goals of the game, and they lead 7 goals to 2 at quarter time. A 28-point margin for the Saints to overcome if they're to win away from home this afternoon. Got a couple of the all-time greats with me today. The 9th greatest game player of all time, Brad Johnson, and the man who's still king of the jungle here, Jonathan Brown. What did you make of it, guys?
Yeah, it was interesting. Brisbane started with fantastic energy. You can see Alan Richardson there. He'll be trying to fire, especially the St Kilda midfield up, because they were beaten for run early on, Dwayne, and it's quite you see 7-1-43 there. And a lot of those goals, they scored 4 goals from possession gains or turnovers, John Owen. They were really, once they got the footy, the Brisbane Lions, they really popped out like party poppers, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Their midfield run was very good, and that's why they were able to create these turnovers at half-back. But then the midfielders, they were on their bike, so they were helping in resulting in that 4-1-25 from turnovers. 2 goals from kick-ins as well, so they've been able to get the ball over the top and away they've gone. Daniel Rich, I thought, was influential in that first probably 10 to 15 minutes of the game.
No
really set them
early.
up.
No match-up on him early, which was interesting.
Well, Weller's been going to Beams a little bit and Rockcliffe throughout that quarter, so Daniel Rich will be enjoying that aspect of it, because Beams, he's still at the 12, he's there getting attention, and Daniel Rich can sort of flow around and do his best work, because we know he uses the ball so well.
We've had a few midfielders be able to go forward as well. Ryan Lester's gone forward and kicked a couple of goals to Wayne, and they're playing a pretty small forward line, the Brisbane Lions. Matthew Leuenberger's played some time there at full forward, but there'll be a lot of midfielders for the Lions, and a little bit for St Kilda as well. We'll have to float through the forward lines because they are playing a little bit small there. You see Ryan Lester, the man in question. Nick Riewoldt, 2 goals in his return game, which has been great to see. But St Kilda look like they started to get a bit more energy and a little bit back into the game in the second part of that quarter. Around
the stoppages, because at one point it was 7-0 in favour of Brisbane with clearances. They were able to get that back. They're just down by 2 now. It's 11-9. So I think it was around the ball where they started to work things out a little bit. They just couldn't get the run out of there. They were still bombing it from that position.
And the scoring trend reflects that as well. First 5 goals of the game to the Saints, but it's been goal for the last 5 goals. So 28 points to margin to start this second term. As we mentioned, hot conditions, and the Saints players were feeling it late in the opening term. It's not going to get much cooler in the next 2 hours. Armitage gives it off to Stephen. Wobbles one over the head of Bruce. Clark a fumble. Now in trouble. Bruce tried the quick-fire handball out to Riewoldt. Andrews.
That's where it can hurt you, can't you, that fumble, because the mids for Brisbane expecting, Clark's going to mark this, we're going. We're on our bike already, because they're trying to read that, where Saints are continuing to push forward because that's where the ball's going. Turnover like that can really create an outnumber for you.
And the good teams all go. They see a guy that's going to mark, they're on.
They're on, yeah.
But if you've got a team that's down the bottom end of the ladder, and it must be said these 2 teams are 15th and 16th right now, you kind of get in trouble if you make that anticipation. Martin. Weller sits it up a bit. Riewoldt again from 4 deep. Clay Beams. 1-2 with Rich, nearly sold him into trouble. Martin, it is trouble. Armitage, he will finish. Sneaks it in. There's the start they were after.
Yeah, terrific pressure there by St Kilda, and well finished by David Armitage around the corner, a bit like Daniel Rich in the first quarter. But this is where they've sort of lifted in that last 5 minutes of the first quarter. Dwayne, they were able to score a goal from it, St Kilda. You can see now the St Kilda players coming down to pressure up. Armitage involved in there, Montagna there as well, a couple of senior players. They need to really keep that ball inside forward 50 to get themselves back in the game. They've lifted their work rate in the last 5 minutes.
As the boys were saying, just starting to blossom again this season. David Armitage, it's the same draft as Gibbs and Boak and Joel Selwood and James Frawley. High kick inside 50. Dempster takes the mark.
Young Dawson there, a bit of a mismatch against Dempster. Dwayne Dawson will be a good player down the track, but only his second game.
And he's been competing pretty well. It looks like he's out there to bring the ball to ground as much as anything.
Well, he's not overly tall, but he can jump, very athletic and pretty good at ground level as well.
Yeah, he's replacing a good one. That's the hard part for him. He's got a lot of expectation to live up to.
Jeez.
Little fumble back there.
I'm not sure I could jump like he can.
Shenton goes inside. That's certainly not 15. It was lucky to be 5. Weller. Montagna. A little bit of a stats fest. Delaney.
They've done well there, the Saints, because that handball in front of goal, the Dempster, looked like disaster written all over it. They've done well to get it out.
Andrews up early. Got hands on it. The young player trying to establish himself, but Harry H. trying to establish himself in defence.
He's going to be a good young player. And I think nearly the youngest player in the competition is Harris Andrews, but lucky to dodge a ball there, the Brisbane Lions. St Kilda had a 2v1 against Andrews. Done well to get it out of bounds there.
And a lot of young players in both these lineups. Brisbane Lions with more injuries than the Saints, though.
I think you'll probably find, Dwayne, they'd nearly be the 2 youngest sides in the competition this weekend, which is exciting for the fans. There's a lot of really good young talent for both teams here.
Geary. Rewalt's there. Got hands on it. Rich. Schneider. A massive congestion. Weller somehow. Billings. And it doesn't score. It just touched the padding on the inside of the post. And they are out here quickly. Robertson. Robinson got one to the ear.
That was Clay Beams just getting some attention on the knee, or he had the strapping.
Good attack from Leicester. Robertson, Aish. Little flick back from O'Brien to Paparone. Intensity's lifted.
Definitely lifted, Dwayne, and the contested possessions 10-5 early in the this quarter. So it's been led by the St Kilda midfield, of course. Armitage, Montagna, Stephen, these sorts of guys. They're really flat early on in the first quarter, Jono, but you can definitely tell they've lifted their work rate.
Well, they have more disposal at the moment, plus 10 already in this second quarter. And that's what we spoke about. That's where they weren't as much in control in that first quarter, allowed Brisbane to score heavily.
Armitage goal. So they've got a couple off the Brisbane Lions, and the Saints are on the way back.
He's leading the charge. This guy here, you want the ball in his hands, he doesn't turn it over, and he's scoring as well in this quarter.
He is scoring. Obviously, he's got the first 2 goals. Just, that's a cardinal sin by Brisbane defenders there. There's a lot of players up in the contest. That ball has to come forward. Stephen Martin was in that. Justin Clark come over the top. You cannot let the ball over the back. You know the St Kilda players will be running onto it. Look for maybe Rockcliffe to work his way towards Armitage here.
So Armitage gets a rest. They've got a couple off. Harwood under a concussion test at the moment, and Clay Beams has gone down to the rooms for the Brisbane Lions. So we'll keep an eye on that. Cameron Mooney's on the spot. We'll head to him shortly as soon as we can get an update. Holding free. Dunstan flicks it up. Longer. And now Montagna straight down the middle. Loney got the kick away. 3 in a row to start the term for the Saints.
Again, the Lions defenders allowed that ball over the back. Good finish there by young Jack Loney. You see this, the ball kicking along. They've really attacked the front of the goal square today. But again, Lions players let the ball over the back. Loney's able to come in and snap around the corner. You don't want that, Jono, do you?
No, it's clean, isn't it, from Loney? One grab player down low, and that's what he has to be. He has to be clean in those situations to make the most of those opportunities. And it was a classy finish from the young Saint.
174 centimetres, and doesn't matter how tall you are, if those big St Kilda forwards can get the ball to ground, it's going to really come into play. And it hurts now losing Ryan Harwood, one of the Brisbane Lions' small defenders.
Find out from Moons shortly if Clay Beams re-emerged as well. Dunstan goes wide. Robertson. Rewalt looking for the big leap. Bruce is down there. Brilliant grab by Harry A.
You're determined to make that stick?
No,
right, we'll make it stick.
What is his nickname?
Big Harrow.
Big Harrow.
Big Harrow.
Okay, we'll just go with Big Harrow.
I like Harry H.
That's right.
Or Harry A. Harry
He's taken quite a few intercept marks early on in his career. He'll need some more now, the way the ball's coming in from St Kilda.
See if Big Harrow can get up. Lewis Taylor at the back, but it's good to see local products coming through.
Another one of the academy boys.
Dwayne, just with the sub down here, Ryan Harwood has been subbed out of the game after we saw him come down and hit his head on that big marking contest. So Zach O'Brien, as we mentioned just before quarter time, is on for the sub rule, and Clay Beam still is yet to emerge from down underneath.
Good work, Moons. It has made a major change to their rotations that are possible. Montagna puts play on. Bruce crashed it down. Kick is okay from Dunstan. 4 in a row.
This is becoming a real issue now, Dwayne, because Brisbane Lions have lost Beams and they've lost Harwood now as their small defenders. And the St Kilda small forwards are really starting to cause some problems. Obviously, the big boys, you can see Bruce there brings the ball to ground. Rewald did earlier on. The big Lions defenders aren't able to clear the area, and now it's really starting to bring the St Kilda small forwards into play. Dunstan was able to finish that one. They've got Dunstan, Loney, Sinclair, Billings. Really good small forwards, St Kilda.
And you got the smarts of Snyder.
Yes.
As well down there.
Confidence is growing by the second. O'Brien. Kick gathered by Martin. Wobbler through hands. News. Knocked it down. Okay. Dempster. It'll be coming back. Robertson. Shrugs a tackle. Pokes the pass, and Armitage at both ends knocks this down. Lays a high tackle though. Mitch Robinson. Crowd applauding the fact that Brisbane Lions got a free. He's just beyond his range. Heads to the pocket. Leuenberger's down there. Webster. Armitage. Content to see it out. Just on Harris Andrews, 18 years of age, and kicked 80 goals in the NEAFL under-18s a couple of years ago, but you're not sure whether he's a forward or a back, or...
I think he might end up as a defender, Dwayne. He reads the ball really well in the air. He's already taken a lot of intercept marks in his young career.
Looks like that's where Justin Levis has decided he should play. Lewis Taylor floats a little, and Webster content to thump it out. Quite a few superstar youngsters who play forward or in the ruck end up being told, no, you've got to go back to defence because there's not a spot forward for you.
And young Andrews will be a fantastic young player. He probably needs a couple of years in the gym, no doubt. Look at those little, I shouldn't say little arms, those skinny enough arms. He'll get the guns fired up, Jono, in the gym the next couple of years.
He's still got the big vein that goes down there, so that'll explode over the years.
Right. Sooner or later, he'll be a bit like you and run around with looking like he's got watermelons under his arms. Big chest out.
Learned from the best, one of our colleagues, the great Dermot.
Absolutely.
What we did see, though, when Andrews was coming back on, was Beams just pop out through the tunnel there as well.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
Andrews. Stephen Martin jumps and plucks it.
Great grab.
Off the hands of Longer. Inboard to Rich, and Weller didn't go at him.
Surprising he was able to pop up there in so much space, wasn't it, Dwayne?
I thought Weller was there for the spoil, but...
Yeah. You don't want to leave Daniel Rich anywhere within 60 metres. He'll go back and just calmly, certainly make the distance. Hopefully for the Lions, he can slot it through.
It's already got 2.
Well done by Stephen Martin. Good kick, took his time. The new St Kilda defenders tried to flood back. Space opened up in the middle.
On the way back in many ways this year, just the 3 games last year for Daniel Rich, and he can't nail it. Back from that knee, Rico. There's Clay Beams and his knee injury.
Great Dr. McConnell on the right there. Yeah, he makes soup for the boys after each home game. He's one of the great chefs in all the time. It makes the big thermos of soup. I wonder what it is this week. Maybe make some pumpkin soup with scallops in it.
A bit hot for soup. I was going to say.
Probably is a little bit hot, but maybe after the game, after you've been in the ice bath for 20 minutes, Dwayne.
Vichyssoise, maybe. There's Paparone jogging back into position. He would have looked after you a few times, the doctor, Brownie.
Yeah, too many times, Dwayne.
Back inside the field of play, and Stephen Martin. Kick smothered. Akers stripped of it. Good tackle. And O'Brien's playing with the kind of desire you want from a bloke who's coming back from club-imposed suspension. Taylor.
Never liked that kick, Brownie, when you're a forward.
Oh. The crowd told him that Jack Stephen was sneaking up behind him. Jack Stephen didn't want to run too hard because he was going to make the noise.
Yeah, I know Taylor was free then, but you're close to the middle of the ground. You've got all those options on the other side. Then you kick it out here. If he can't play on, there's no point kicking it down there to Taylor, because all of a sudden you get all the numbers back for St Kilda. And as a forward, Brownie, as you know, as soon as you get that space taken away from him, it's very frustrating.
Yeah, good point.
Montagna wide. And again, Bruce doesn't get a chance to have an impact. Can't lay the tackle. Billings keeps it alive, but to his detriment. Adcock knocks it down. Clay beams Daniel Rich. Oh, fantastic step on Akers. Rockcliffe resting forward. Good front spot. Dempster experience there.
Well read by Dempster there.
And 50.
Yeah, for the contact afterwards, but the Saints are getting back a lot better now with a lot more energy. Rockcliffe's been able to block things up a little bit.
Yeah, Rockcliffe's strengths there is more in a one-on-one. He can keep his feet planted, but unfortunately for Rockcliffe, Dempster was up and get a good jump at it. He does read the ball well.
Akers, just his 6th game. He's getting plenty of it.
First round pick from a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Dwayne, so St Kilda supporters will be really looking forward to his growth.
Loney pokes it into the pocket, and a well-measured pass as well. They are on the way back, and Billings could make it 5 goals in a row if he's got the leg on him.
This kid's going to be a bona fide A-grader, I think. Yeah, he's very exciting. As I say, saw him against Jono's boys a few weeks ago, where he single-handedly brought St Kilda back into the game against the Bulldogs.
He was also a pick 3. This is big, this. He goes with the central kick. Hits the hot spot, didn't work. Sometimes you've got to set it up a bit more.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that.
Well, you do, but the thing is, too, you've got to identify that where all Brisbane's numbers are if you are going to do that. And you look at that contest, then it was 3v about 8.
Yeah.
So they're always going to be able to clear that over the line.
And he's got a fair hoof on him too. I'm surprised he didn't run around with the left foot there.
Lewis Taylor taken down. Webster back to Hickey. Shenton. Clark content to tap that away from Bruce. So if you just tuned in, the Brisbane Lions kicked the first 5 goals of this game.
Dwayne, Clay Beams.
The Saints have kicked the last 4. Sorry, Moons.
Clay Beams just came back onto the field with that left knee heavily bandaged, so just coming back on now.
Okay.
He has had a knee reconstruction before, so let's hope it's got nothing to do with that.
And now, what's the update on Harwood? We'll get that from you, Moons, because his time must be up surely.
He's been subbed out, Dwayne.
Been subbed out. Okay, so he's done it for the day. Akers, good attack with Buick. Fantastic attack. Buick goes back. A little bit high on Dawson, but Dawson holding his jaw at the moment. We'll keep an eye on that after he's bumped after the handball. Dunstan. Stephen found space where there wasn't any, and they've kicked the last 5.
Massive response from the Saints. Their instructions at quarter time must have been just absolutely spot on, but in the end it comes down to those instructions in terms of their run and better positioning up forward with getting to the feet of the bigs with these small players who are kicking all the goals in this quarter.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to execute, especially under these conditions where they looked out on their feet in that first quarter, the Saints, but brilliant response, just the way that Armitage and Stephen have really lifted this midfield along with Dunstan.
Well, they kicked the first behind of the game, the Saints. And they're back in front for the first time since that opening minute. They'll lead by 2. Brisbane
got some extra numbers behind the footy now just to try and stem the flow.
This has been the problem for this quarter, though, Brownie. This around the midfield here in the red stoppages, contested ball, they're getting absolutely belted. Their midfield have gone to sleep this quarter.
Beams and Stephen Billings and ping-ponged around. Leuenberger, Robertson, Rockcliffe bumped. Webster got him. He got it back. Adcock to Leuenberger. Turnover. Schneider the knockdown. Good hassle. Rockcliffe in the middle of it. Robertson to Paparone. It opens up now. Robinson. Good spin on Delaney. Heads to the pocket. And beautifully measured pass to Dawson.
That was better. Took their time. Brisbane started to use the ball through short possession.
Kicked his first goal of his career last week in his first AFL game. It was a tough kick as well from the pocket.
Another local boy, academy product. Good to see some locals starting to come into the Brisbane Lions team.
And his mum, Bev, a massive Lions fan.
Massive, yeah. Was she worn the jumper today, Dwayne?
I think she might have. She does like wearing it. He opens up the angle. It won't have the distance, and that's a good mark. Last on the defence from Hickey.
St Kilda, their starts this year haven't been great, and that continued today. If this side over the next couple of weeks and leading in the second half of the season get their starts right and actually get into the contest a little bit earlier, look out, they'll frighten a few sides along the way. Don't worry about that. They just have to work so hard to get back into the contest, and maybe that has an effect later on for them. But at the moment, it's a credit to the Saints to be able to jump back into this contest, take a 2-point lead at this stage, 18 minutes into the second quarter.
Andrews told to go. Taylor. Andrews. Crowd getting a little restless. Webster let it drop.
We've got a good balance, a good mix now of age through the St Kilda midfield, haven't they? You know, Armitage really starting to come on and being A-graded, but they do have, you know, Montagna, Stephen, Schneider certainly been around there for quite a while, and they've got a nice blend of youngsters coming in, and you know, Dunstan, Jack Billings starting to spend some time there as well.
Good attack, Zorko. Now Rich resting forward, and Robertson out positioned him. Webster. Straight down the middle, Stephen. Rewalt the half volley. Akers, they're full of run and confidence. Stephen sends it long. Can Bruce get a run this time? Big crash of the pack.
Hang on.
2 players down. Dunstan in the meantime. They can't miss. 6 in a row.
Great finish from Dunstan, but Hickey's come through. I'm not sure who he's... Looks like James Ace that he's absolutely cleaned up here with the jump through the pack. You can see Ace getting set with Billings, and there Hickey just clips him on the side of the head, and he's in trouble straight away. So not to take away from the effort from Dunstan to actually finish this contest, but that's a big hit on James Ace.
Oh, great finish there. She's a very dangerous ground level here, the St Kilda small forwards.
Oh, he kind of ducked into that.
Yeah. Hopefully he'll be all right.
Well, they've already lost Harwood in a way, hitting his head on the ground after going for a big hanger. Beams has got a sore knee, so there's 3 players now for the Lions.
Yeah, and about 10 on the sidelines already injured. Green in the meantime, he knows where they are. Wasn't touched by Dempster. Finally on the board in this term.
Quick response from the Lions out of the middle. And that man loves a goal, Green. He did well on that occasion to find them out of the middle by O'Brien. They get a good, solid clearance here. Leuenberger, first time we've seen him in this quarter. He had a good first quarter, Leuenberger. And that's just classical front square work from Green. And they've missed out in that quarter. It's been all the Saints smalls that have had the impact up forward. Green now with his first opportunity and was able to nail it.
Brisbane's leading goal kicker. He was last year as well. Certainly very reliant on him. Kick a fair chunk of the goals.
3-1 last week again, and a losing team against the Bombers. And the umpires record it again.
What Justin Lepage will be looking for here is a bit more accountability through the midfield. Is St Kilda's midfielders that are getting forward, certainly putting on a lot of scoreboard pressure. Dunstan's kicked a couple. Armitage kicked 2. Jack Stevens got forward and kicked a goal.
Yep. Tossed in the air. Stephen. Armitage was pleading for the free kick as he was being pushed. Dane Beams heads to Leuenberger, who marks on 50.
Good lead up. He's got good speed for a big man.
He's got a long, straight kick on him.
Not sure he can kick it this far. That's the problem, though. There's no other taller targets. Ryan Lester's pushed forward. He's pretty much the tallest. He's going to have a go at it, though.
Picture tells 1,000 words there.
Just a little one here from Montagna afterwards. Whooshka. Get up and take your kick.
A bit like the state of origin, getting up off the bottom of the pack.
Ball travels to the back. Adcock tackled Montagna, and now they run. Armitage feeds the handball inside. Schneider, punch on. Billings, Rewalt.
That's fluent, isn't it? And that's good team play in terms of keeping that ball alive. A couple of good knock-ons. And into the hands of their skipper.
Moving well. Moving well. He started a long way up the field there, worked his way back. Marco Paparone can run with him pretty well, but it gets very difficult when you're in a situation like that.
Well, if you've got space as a key forward and you can make 2 or 3 leads, it's difficult for any defender.
And he drills it back to an 8-point margin.
Great finish there by Nick Rewalt. He's probably changed his technique a few times. That looked like a nice, simple routine. Didn't waste much time. You just see him up in the middle of the screen here, coming down the centre corridor, running back towards goal, creating space for his midfielders, then just coming back at the kicker. And that's the easiest kick. You want to come back at the midfielders. That's a lot easier kick. You see Rewalt here.
Timing's critical. Look, Paparone looks at the ball and then he bolts back up. So, classic forward play.
Fantastic, very difficult. That's the experienced forward. And he waits till Paparone turns his head, looks at the ball, and then he comes back at the kicker. Well done, Nick Rewalt.
It's great vision, isn't it, to be able to get it from that high.
Good lesson for young forwards,
to show everyone.
Turnover, O'Brien steals it back. Leuenberger forward. Geary gets there, hunted down by Green. Well umpired. Dropped the ball as he was tackled.
It's been a good contest, Dwayne. Really back into it. The Sainers have made this a great contest. Both midfields are now in a tense battle.
From 5 goals down against the odds. Saints in front, approaching half-time. Rich tried to scoop up Montagna. Adcock. Oh, he's caught. He had Paparone free, ignored it, waited too long. Martin, Christensen crunched. Dunstan, who he tried to duck into a high one. Umpire didn't fall for that either.
Just needed to go there. Jed Adcock had the ball. He went to go. When you go away from your first option, quite often it doesn't work. It backfires, doesn't it, Jono? And if Adcock had a gone there, it would have been open in the Brisbane Lions forward 50. Instead, he waited.
A few 4th and 5th man ups there.
Right up, guys. Just keep the meter, please, straight away. Make it easier. Matt, 1 metre there, please.
Robertson. Robertson.
Out here.
Match up. And a big pack around this. Akers. Rewalt and Bruce. Oh, good. Rake in by Andrews.
Going to be a player, Dwayne.
And you might be right. 80 goals in the NEFL as an under-18 might not be enough to prove that he's a forward. He could be a great pick-off mark defender. He's got fantastic reach.
Justin Lepage was a defender as well, Dwayne, so he might be keen for him to play back there.
Robertson.
The fact that we've seen him play forward a couple of weeks ago, Brownie, and now playing down back. I mean, these swingmen are very hard to find in today's game that can actually go both ends and really do a job.
Exactly right. And I'm sure he'll go forward at times. At the moment, he's still a skinny lad, and it's a lot harder to play forward when you are still trying to put on some weight.
Bruce heads wide to Rewald. He's got a couple to beat. Paparone comes over the top, keeps it in front. And you've got one of the best swingmen in the competition at the moment, still on the sidelines in Merritt.
Yes, Daniel Merritt, he just can't seem to get over a hamstring problem at the moment. Has lingered a lot longer than what the footy club would have thought. He'd be a real asset, obviously, to come back in and play at both ends.
He certainly changed the dynamic. It would be presumed he'd go back into defence. Stephen to Armitage. Beams can't mark it. Clay Beams and Dame Beams both there.
All of a sudden, yeah, that's right. And all of a sudden, the key position stocks are very young, Dwayne. You know, Joel Patfield, of course, traded to GWS then the last season. Daniel Merritt's not playing. So, you know, that's an area that Brisbane certainly relying on a lot of youth down the middle of the ground.
Stephen got free. Nunes. Now Bruce got to run. Crashed it. Knocked it down. Andrews almost stole it back again. It's a flick pass. Buick. Push off. Fantastic attack. Strength of body. And Adcock thumps it. The race on. Schneider got there first and spun it a little early. Leuenberger does well. Used his body well. He used his toe well. Used his presence nicely in the crowd. Show their appreciation for the 100-gamer.
So did his teammates, and that was the pleasing thing with that. Green straight over to him, but there was applause from all his teammates as well in his 100th game. He's had a bit of an impact in this one.
Yeah, he has. Well done.
Big couple of minutes coming up. Weller laid the tackle on Martin, and a free kick off the ball. It's going to Weller. Claybeam stands under it. Clark. Paparone. Stephen Martin. Dane Beams. Adcock, bang. Caught by Loney, that's probably ball.
That's great harassment from Loney. He went at Beams, didn't give up on that one. The handball went back, he closed up with speed on Adcock. Two great efforts.
It's a real asset for St Kilda, these small forwards that can go into the midfield. Got terrific life and energy.
Clever to Rewalt, and it hurts when, well, he's your the most experienced player for Brisbane, Adcock. He's made a couple of mistakes in this term.
Yeah. Just second-guessing himself a little bit. Dwayne, normally he's pretty solid with his disposal. Just a couple of mistakes there. And what I like about the St Kilda small forwards as well is they use the ball really well, Jono. Something Nick Rewalt will be loving here. He's getting a little bit of advice.
He's getting some feedback.
He's got three. Hits the square, big fly, and through for a behind. Could have been a teammate of yours, Nick Rewalt Brownie, just a few kilometres too far down the road for an automatic recruit.
I think they did change the zone. It was 100 kilometres, and he did grow up in the Gold Coast, but just when he was coming along, the AFL changed the rule to 50 kilometres. He was about a K outside the zone, I think.
Yeah. From Tassie originally, but moved up here as a kid. Nunes sees it out of play. That would have just been unfair if they got you under a 50-game father-son rule.
And we had Lynch and Bradshaw there as well.
It's true.
A handy forward line.
Couldn't fit him in anyway. You thought we don't need this Rewalt kid?
Might have to play back.
The fist down. Weller's had an impact. Umpire will sort it out.
They need to break from this stoppage, the Lions. They need to have a red-hot crack at this. See if they can get it out and maybe score one last one in this last minute of the first half.
Leicester. Montagna sits under it. Zorko with the fist. Christensen hasn't seen a lot of it in this quarter. Started the game well.
They had one touch this quarter, Dwayne. Rockcliffe only one touch as well. So certainly the St Kilda midfielders have got a lot more of the footy here.
Cameron Mooney's going to have a chat to Tom Rockcliffe in 44 seconds time. So looking forward to that. After a 5-0 start, the Brisbane Lions are going to go in at half-time behind. Holding the ball, St Kilda will go forward again in the dying seconds. Over the head of Bruce Andrews. And he knew where to be as well on that occasion. No time for a Brisbane score, but there's still time for a turnover. Good spot to hit, although a little too wide.
No blocking, no holding.
Schneider wants to take it. Gives it up. Robertson. Seconds tick down. Bruce gets in the spot and left it behind. Billings. And that would have hurt. Armitage. Deloney on the buzzer. And he misses to the near side. So after a magnificent start for the home team on a hot afternoon when they were super hot in the first 15 minutes and jumped to that 5-0 start, the Saints have hit back in this term, the second quarter, and blown this lead out to 10 points at the change. And Tom Rockcliffe, the captain of the Brisbane Lions, had a lean second term and is about to have a chat to Cameron Mooney after having a chat to his troops here. He's addressing them.
Work rate to be on the agenda there, I would have thought. Dwayne, very vocal leader, Tommy, but a few of the guys were down. Alan Christian only had one possession as well. Dane Beams had his 5. James Ace, no possessions. Whereas you look at St Kilda, that Armitage, Dunstan had a lot of footy themselves.
Here he is.
Tommy, brilliant first quarter. Bit of a train wreck in that second quarter. What happened?
Yeah, we lost a couple. Clay Beams was off for a fair chunk of that quarter, and then Ryan Harwood obviously went off. But we've just got to control the tempo of the game now. We've got to play it a little bit slower.
As skipper, what did you just say then to the boys?
We just got to kick mark a little bit more instead of playing on so much, and don't want to go long down the line because they're out marking us all the time. So we just got to look to use the footy a little bit better and get the footy going forward.
Thanks, Tommy.
Tom Rockcliffe with Cameron Mooney, and we'll, after this break, have Brad Johnson and Jonathan Brown, two of the all-time. Welcome back to the Gabba. Second half not far away. Brisbane Lions and the Saints in their one and only battle for 2015. Presuming, of course, they don't both make the finals. Players move into position as we head back down to Cameron Mooney.
Thank you, Dwayne. Look, we saw in that first quarter why St Kilda really got head-handed to them, let's be honest. That's 7 goals to 2. This is why. Broken tackles. We heard Alan Richardson before the game talking about the brand, their identity. They wanted to be a pressure team. They finally got it in that second quarter. They're 2 ruckmen laying these big tackles. This is the reason why they came back and kicked these 7 goals back in that second quarter. Fantastic pressure for them. Massive 10 minutes for Brisbane here, Dwayne, to get back into this game.
Thanks, Moons. There's a slight delay here with, I think, an umpire audio problem they're trying to fix. So obviously we need to get that operational. So the umpires are
Sean Ryan there too, Dwayne. He's made a comeback as an umpire. He did 5 grand finals in a row before he had to early retirement.
He's done well. He's been a great mentor for the young umpires coming through as well, which has been fantastic. I think Wayne Campbell was instrumental in getting him back into the umpiring ranks because of the quality, and plus he loves umpiring with the young fellas just to help grow them in their path to becoming grand final umpires as well.
Yeah, Sean Ryan, Heath Ryan, Brendan Hosking, and they are going to fast-track ex-players becoming umpires as well, which is great news. Brownie, you interested?
It's great, yeah. Give him a chance. I'm not sure how I'd go with some of the demonstrative behaviour, Dwayne.
Yeah, I just have to think back to how you were. O'Brien gets the clearance to start this second half. Lewis Taylor said they can start this second half as they started the first. Rockcliffe.
You can see already that was the direction from Rockcliffe talking to his teammates before going in at half-time. We need to take possession. He told Cameron Mooney in that interview as they were walking in, come straight out. They're a bit more patient, just hitting up that 10 to 15 metre pass, and they get it in the hands of Leuenberger for a set shot.
But that's right, but not slow possession. Keep the ball moving.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big kick this for momentum. Has he got it in him? In his milestone game. Swings back a little, but only a behind.
It was a little better than his last set shot, which was a disaster, straight on the full. So just outside 50, he may need to look for a reach or someone to get around his leg to give him a bit of a chop out.
Yeah.
Rewald comes a long way down, sees Lee Montagna, his old mate. Always got to honour that lead from the friend. Short pass, Delaney. And they're out. Nunes. McKenzie. And now Schneider in some space. Gets to use it widely. Bruce has hardly seen it. Gets a chance here off hands. Loney caught by the ear. Umpire said play on. O'Brien back to Rockcliffe to Rich. Out of trouble, the Lions. Dane Beams. Clark. Turnover. Horrible. Longer. Hickey's roaming back towards full forward. Bruce goes up 4 deep. Rockcliffe the crumb nicely. Beams, O'Brien, Paparone. Back to Dane Beams. Daniel Rich. Robertson waited and got away from Stephen. Fed it back to Robinson. Better ball movement from the Brisbane Lions. Dawson. Robertson. Dane Beams. Possession footy to Buick. And he's got the over the top. Zorko goes by hand. Zorko has Lewis Taylor. Good run into space.
Terrific build-up, wasn't it, Dwayne? Yeah, they were able to build it up nice and slowly from Brisbane's defensive 50. It was through really good patience, but they kept the ball moving. Certainly Justin Leppich want him to be a little bit more composed, but he won't want the ball to stay in their hands for long periods of time. They were able to use up that short possession, get it to the free player. The skills were pretty good all the way through, and Brisbane were able to really run from their midfield and get forward on their own there.
Hasn't quite got it going this year like he did last year in his NAB Rising Star season. But he can get the Brisbane Lions going in this half, and he can't. Slot, an important goal that would have been.
Boy from Mortlake.
Just down the road from your old hometown of Warrnambool.
Not far from Warrnambool. Yeah, he's really highly rated up here at the Brisbane Lions. Much loved by everyone. He's got back into a bit of form the last couple of weeks, though.
And he has 28 possessions against Port a couple of weeks ago. Zorko cuts this off.
He's the one for me, Zorko. If he can get himself going and he's at 13 now, if he can get up to 25 or so, that'll have a huge save for the Lions.
To Paparone. Now the umpire's bringing this back to Zorko. I think he's had a boot change at half-time as well. Dane Zorko. We just readjust one of them as we speak.
One's good now, Dane. Come back on. That's it.
I don't tend to wear the old screw-ins much anymore, especially not here at the Gabba.
And that's across the face as well. And that's a pluck off hands by Stephen Martin, but over the line. Has to give it up.
We heard Tommy Rockcliffe just before half-time, guys, say that they want to control the ball. They want to start marking and possessing. It's already 11 marks to 4 this quarter.
Armitage played for that free, and the umpire thought about it. He threw the ball out and then waited for the tackle. Interesting one. This, he had possession, fumble or throw.
Yeah, just popped out, fumble.
It's going to fake that sincere fumble, don't you? Otherwise, you're gone. Stephen inboard to Hickey. Good hands. Another Queensland boy as well, Tom Hickey. Sidestep was good. Stephen got it back from McKenzie. Loads up to Akers. Hands on it. Landed well. Gang tackled. Got it up just in time. Bruce feeds it back to Schneider. Untidy. Rockcliffe. And now Aish. Good to see him back after he was hammered in that second term. Montagna. Good spot to be hitting. Rewalt's there. Bruce is there. Off hands. Schneider's there. The Schneider man extends the lead to 13.
Another midfielder going forward there to key a goal for St Kilda, and that's been the major turnaround for mine, Jono. They've been able to get forward now. All the mids have chimed in, kick goals. Armitage, Stephen, Dunstan. You just look at the stoppage off camera, and the St Kilda midfielders are charging out of the stoppage a lot better than the Brisbane midfielders in there. There's a lot of Brisbane midfielders were left in their wake and caught trailing behind the footy there. They really need to lift that to get back into the game.
There's some bad news. Jed Adcock, who's going to play his 200th later this year if he stays fit, hobbling off. And they're already a man down. They've already jumped with their sub. For the record, the Saints have Jack Sinclair as their sub they can bring on whenever they like. Beams spears it wide to Aish. Stephen Martin. Longer. Martin. Longer. Martin. Got a free.
Really challenges the opposition ruckman, Stephen Martin, away from the ruck contest. He runs really well. He's very quick for a big man, very strong as well. Terrific all-round athlete.
Hasn't got a lot of tools down there to kick to, and obviously didn't find one. Dempster. Leuenberger was the only one down there, and he led to the pocket. Longer to the boos, the ex-Lion. As you'd expect, he's still allowed to boo. Bangs it to the wing to Rewalt. If he gets the run. Good use of the body by Andrews. Just nudged him at the right time at the jump moment. Armitage inside to Schneider, to Weller. Schneider wants it back. Weller ignored him. Just got a toe on it, so it's not holding the ball. Robertson. Hickey. Schneider does get it back. Does bang it to the goal square, and a good pluck. Robertson. Lewis Taylor bumped on the kick. Green and Geary in a one-on-one.
That Green pushing off Geary. Got a nice little falcon there, having a laugh about it as well. It was a big contest though, because it was 1v1. He had to halve that contest. Did got it out of play.
Good tight contest between two evenly matched teams in terms of where they are on the ladder and where they are in their rebuild. O'Brien.
Good work there. He looks like he's getting to David Armitage at the moment, O'Brien.
Aish to Lewis Taylor. And Aish says, Louis, give it off. Paparone's there. He's got Leuenberger. He ignores that. He goes short. It was a bad short to Clay Beams. Thumped away by Dempster.
He's got Robertson in the middle, just asking him, why didn't you come back in more? If he changed his run, then instead of just keep flowing out towards boundary side and actually cut back in with a step, he had 3 or 4 teammates that he would have been able to go short to.
Yeah, the evolution of the game is such that if you can keep possession of the ball in the corridor. Beams, the shrug. And again, they're outnumbered forward.
Well done by Beams.
Yeah, absolutely. Just couldn't quite mop it up. Clay Beams, after his brother kicked it in. There's another little fumble, that time by Dawson. Nunes, Loney, Dempster, good smother. They've lifted their rate in this quarter, the Brisbane Lions.
Well done there by Beams there at ground level. Clay, of course, hurt his knee earlier in the game. Probably spent some time forward now. His mobility's obviously been affected. Try and hide him away there with the Lions having quite a few injury problems in this game.
This is the biggest margin the Saints have had as Stephen Martin hammers it forward. Nunes takes the mark. And if you have just flicked on, the Lions did lead by 29 early in the first term, about 15 minutes in. Toe from McKenzie, bumped out of it. Robertson, the slap. Got one high, but also played for it there, Aish. And now the Saints are away. Weller. Well, that's horrible. Paparone. Well, these two teams are 15th and 16th on the ladder. They'll make some mistakes.
You can't make mistakes like that, Dwayne, seriously. When he's free, going inside 50 with Bruce on an open lead, and this is going to be the result because of that poor kick.
So Claybeam's resting forward. Opens it up. Spear pass, and there's another horrible turnover.
Looking for his brother there, Dwayne.
Absolutely, as you do. Especially the older brother. He probably gave you a couple in the yard as a kid. Straight down the middle. Nunes on the rebound. Rewalt. He won't mess it up.
Lucky there, the Saints. They should have been punished the other way.
Got Schneider. Oh, he got one to the nostrils. Will he get up?
Yeah, he'll get up.
He'll get up.
Shot a goal here. He'll bounce up. Maybe hoping for 50 metres to make it a sealer, but he'll go back, have the set shot. And as we said, lucky with that, because the transition with Weller missing that easy kick. There's the whack across the chops.
It did get him too.
It's got him flush. But that was it. They were able to turn it back over and get going and use the ball better. with that last kick inside 450.
Dane Beams was on his own for a long period of time. I should have gone to him in the first place instead of his brother Clay, but when Clay eventually did get the ball, he tried to square it back to Dane, who, as we said, should have had the ball in the first place. But this will hurt now if Schneider kicks this. Most likely to do it too.
Goal umpire does a bit of dancing, but it is home.
This is a little bit of a worry for Brisbane, especially their midfield. So the St Kilda midfielders all kick goals here. Able to sneak forward, gets a free kick. He's probably lucky there because he did fumble the ball, but it was definitely a free kick, of course. A little bit of a whack over the chops, but Armitage has kicked 2 goals now. Stevens kicked a goal. Snyder's kicked 2. Dunstan's kicked 2. Good finish there by the ex-Sydney player. 6 ex-Sydney premiership player as well. So, well, that experienced midfielder.
Yeah, his kids can't play for Swans under the father's son. Just 98 games there. Can play for the Saints.
They might change that, Dwayne.
They might. Absolutely. Clever bit of list management as well with the Saints and Adam Schneider. They delisted him at the end of last year and redrafted him as a rookie.
Pretty handy rookie.
Absolutely. Stephen Martin with the palm. Lewis Taylor gathers, bang, caught. Who'll get the free? Armitage or Loney? Armitage. Montagna.
This way, Brisbane midfielders getting left behind.
He's gone for home. And Rewald says, come on, stick to the plan.
Dwayne, Jed Adcock just come back from down underneath and just getting his right leg strapped, lower leg strapped at the moment. Still in a little bit of pain, still really struggling.
12th season for Jed Adcock. Just missed the premiership run, unfortunately for him. Ball slapped down. Schneider again. Ace steals it back. Robertson runs through a couple of attempted tackles. Dane Beams. Stephen Martin back to Robertson, but he's spent. Cooked himself in the run. Webster gives it back. Stephen. Rewald. Time to settle. Kicked one on his left earlier today. Hits the post there. The one on the left was from 2 metres out. Clark. At breaking strain, you sense now the Brisbane Lions. Can they steal one back against the run? Robertson.
He can run, this guy, Dwayne.
Stephen can too, and he's got him.
Great chase.
Paparone. And there's the pressure straight through Mackenzie and Beams, and it's taken out.
The experienced side would have went from one end of the ground to the other there. Just simple mistakes. Great chase by Jack Stephen. Nick Robinson, one of the best runners at the Brisbane Lions, but Stephen was able to keep up with him. Just sloppy disposal there.
The ball in. Rockcliffe, well, it was knocked under Rockcliffe. These two teams mentioned a couple of times on the rebuild. We thought the Brisbane Lions were ahead in the rebuild. They were 15th last year with 7 wins. High expectations this season. Saints are 18th last year with just the 4 wins for the year.
Piers Hanley's been a very big loss for the Lions this year, especially with that skill efficiency we were talking about just before, Dwayne.
Yeah, oh, 2 players clash heads there. So Akers and Dunstan both slowly getting up. Rewald gets up. Oh, he was crunched as well. Coming back from concussion, he looks okay. Robertson to Buick. Shrugs out a tackle attempt from Schneider. This looks better. O'Brien down the middle, feeds it off. Now I need Robertson to finish the deal. And he's good enough.
Well, it was good play in the end by the Lions. Dunstan going off the ground here. He's a little bit sore. A head clash there with Akers, I think it was. Dwayne, you said, oh yeah, right there. That's a big clash. That's the top of the lip by the looks of things there on Dunstan. I hope he's got the mouth guard in on the back of that. That's a big hit, and then they got the ball going forward, and then Brisbane turnover at half-back. Transition goal.
Wouldn't be too many don't wear the mouthguard, surely, Jono.
No, you wouldn't think so.
Yeah, the doctor's really trying to ram it down your throat, so to speak.
Yeah, I know you
start
mean.
of the year. Yep.
Everyone get their ankles strapped too?
No, not everyone, but it's
compulsory at the Brisbane Lions.
Compulsory at the Lions.
Main training session and for games.
Oh, it's coming back and off the ball. It'll tangle up with Stephen and Zorko.
There's a little bit going on at the moment. It was a good finish by Robertson as well, because he owed the Lions a couple of errors that he made, one in the middle of the ground, one on the wing in front of us here on commentary side.
So Stephen has a run. Heads toward Christensen, who's hardly seen it. Fantastic half volley. Sidestep was a gem.
Post up.
Would have been nice.
Oh, that was huge. What a pickup.
That's what he's in the side there for. Yeah. Geez, he's a classy player, isn't he? Fantastic at the contested footy, below his knees. Normally a good finisher. That one just couldn't quite sneak in.
The crowd can sense it, though. They're on the build back. Dempster. Front spot, Zorko. Brought to ground at least. Clark. Zorko. Play on, not 15 to Buick. O'Brien. To Paparone. No, he wobbled that. He meant to go to Paparone and he's turned it over horribly. Straight down the middle, Nunes to set it up. He goes to Bruce. Got it. No, fumbled it last second. It hasn't been his day. Just 2 kicks, 2 handballs in the first half and still goalless. Stephen Martin.
Yeah, he'd be disappointed, but he needs to work on moments now, Bruce. He needs to make this game about a couple of good moments. They could be important moments late in the game.
Absolutely. It might be 1 or 2 good moments that wins it. Christensen inboard. Zorko. Brisbane Lions having a moment at the moment, and he gets it home.
Well, it's got the fans here at the Gabba excited. Good finish there by Dane Zorko. That's something you probably haven't seen a lot of this year, is that goal scoring from him. He spent a lot of time in the midfield. Josh Bruce looked like he had it. He just couldn't quite hang on to it till the last second. Now, the Lions set up really well here. They shared the ball nicely. Anytime the ball gets in Christian's hands, you know he's going to find a teammate. Good finish there by Zorko. It was a good run. Starting to get a bit of that identity back from the first quarter, Jono.
Yeah, they got their run back. They got their run from defence back, and that's the key there. They're capitalising on turnover again, which they haven't been able to do since that first quarter, and that's where they've been able to get their last 2 goals.
From the ball up, Christensen tried to turn and run, got a handball out, blocked by Stephen. He wants the 1-2 with Akers, who looks okay now. Heads wide, little fumble, McKenzie. Aish. Leicester had a good first term. Christensen caught high. Oh no, the fend-off was high, according to the umpire. 8 points the margin in a game that sent a couple of big runs by both teams. Brisbane's led by 29, the Saints have led by 21. Webster wide, not 15. Shenton just puts it into the grandstand.
Definitely lift the tempo the last couple of minutes, Dwayne. Dane Beam's been fantastic, 10 possessions. Another young guy, Nick Robinson, 9 possessions. And Zach O'Brien's done a pretty good job here on David Armitage to quiet him down. Armitage only had the 3 possessions this quarter.
Rockcliffe. Crowd getting involved at least. Back into it. Now the Brisbane Lions have kicked the last 2 goals of the game. Stephen tries to duck out of that one. Nunes caught. Rockcliffe pokes it back to Leuenberger, missed him, and Leicester. So Leicester will line up virtually the same spot where he kicked a couple in the opening term.
Well done. Very good by Tom Rockcliffe. Got really good weighted kicking, especially kicking inside 50. He just knows how to put it nice and softly in front of the forwards. Going to be interesting. He'll run out to the right a little bit here. Ryan Lester. Good finish.
He's got 3, and it's a 2-point game.
Good response from the Lions. I think Christensen has led the charge in the last 5 minutes of play. He's had a couple of disposals, a shot at goal, and a big tackle there, which caused the turnover, which got the ball back in Rockliff's hands. And there's Lester just flowing in behind Leuenberger.
3rd for the game.
Yeah, he's done well.
He's a bigger body as well, and he took that mark on the lead, of course, but he's been pretty handy.
Guys, and some bad news down here for Brisbane with Adcock. Looks like his day is done. We're just seeing there the ice on that right calf. So they're down to 2 rotations, and the temperature right now is 25 degrees, Brownie. So as you know, it's very hot, so they need to get this score on the board here, Brisbane, to make sure they don't run out of legs late in this game.
Cameron Moody on the boundary line, 3-time premiership star, and this game's got a little spice in it now. Ball to the back, and we'll get a ball in. And players, unlike fans and spectators and commentators, they're not realists. The team that wins this will still think they're a chance to actually make the finals, or at least give it a run, get a 3rd win. Both teams have got reasonable draws against evenly matched teams for the next couple of months. Season well and truly alive for the winner today. Geary bangs it inside 50. Buick thumps it down. Gets his own ball back. Beams, Rockliff. Experienced players doing okay. Good tackle though on Buick, and that's probably ball. He took on the tackler. Robin brought him down. Gone.
Good tackle, straight for the hips. Justin Lepage shows his frustration there.
He is frustrated, yeah. But at least Buick didn't cough it up and just handball it out and allow St Kilda to go quick.
Rewald had a big couple of palms on it, but couldn't hold it. Dane Beams out of the danger zone. Stephen Martin with 2 big men to beat. Beats them both. Handball missed the target though. Roberton. Geary. Dempster. Shenton had to hold that.
He didn't know it was coming, Shenton. Lucky he turned and had a look.
Webster. Bruce.
It's been well held today. Dwayne, he just hasn't been able to get free. Just hasn't been able to quite grab the marks today. He's just fumbled a few of them.
He sits that a little nastily on the head of Billings. Schneider, good sidestep. Weller, who he wants Leuenberger, takes him on, opens it up. Montagna, back to Weller, little fumble. Bruce, got toe on it, and just misses.
Yeah, just had a little bit of a fumbly day today. He's run under the footy quite a few times. Look at this for a chase by Matthew Leuenberger, tallest player on the ground probably. Just doesn't give up. Well done. He's brought that to the table today, Jono, hasn't he? That effort at ground level. Really important. He's the only taller guy in the forward line for the Brisbane Lions today.
It's been his ability to use that speed, which you've said a couple of times that he's got. He used it effectively as a forward, and on that occasion was able to not give up on the chase.
So Christensen has set it all up from defence to Clark. He's got Rich. Faked around Rewald, took him on, opened it up nicely. Robertson, Buick, Christensen, Buick. Tried to run it, didn't work. Armitage, and now on the rebound. Schneider's free forward. He's running to the square, Schneider. Loney hasn't seen him yet. He's got another option. He's got Rewald. That'll do. And Rewald thought about it. And this to settle it all down for the Saints.
Well, these ones hurt, especially Nick Rewald goes back and kicks this goal for the Brisbane Lions supporters. Rowan Buick was away running through the centre of the square. That should have ended up in the Brisbane Lions forward line, deep inside the Lions forward line. Instead, it ends up St Kilda's end. These are critical times in the game. Now, late in the third quarter, game's in the balance.
For his fourth, and to end a run of 3 Lions goals in a row.
He's been good this afternoon.
Really liked his kicking action today. I know he's changed a little bit over his career, but it's looked really simple. He hasn't wasted any time. He's just got to the end of his mark. Little Buick coming through the ground here. It was handball earlier on, got himself into trouble. He needed to just really knock that into the Brisbane Lions forward line. Nick Rewild's eyes would have been like dinner plates here. Have a look at this, just running down, getting ready to go. And he's kicked really well for goal. 4th goal for the day. Fantastic in his return from concussion.
Guys, Dunson, who we saw earlier, get that big hit to the face. He's just come back on. I think they may have had to pull a tooth out of there for a little bit as well. He's in a little bit of pain. He's trying to get his mouth guard back in at one stage and couldn't quite do it with the pain. And just quickly, the sub has been made with St. Kilda, with Sinclair on, and Hickey is the man that's come off.
Okay. So I had to jump with theirs. The Brisbane Lions jumped with theirs earlier in the day.
That could be telling, Dwayne, because, of course, Clay Beams is having to play full forward for the Brisbane Lions with a sore knee. You can see there. Have a look at that. Oh, he's trying to get the mouth guard off.
In, and
there's obviously a little bit of damage there. Quite often they say to leave the mouth guard in with you if you've got a loose tooth.
Right.
Just give him a stick.
worry about it after the game.
Worry about it after the game. Well, that's what we're told.
Some players worry about it after their career. We'll fix that tooth.
That's right.
In 8 years' time when your career's done.
It's a badge of honour when you're missing that tooth.
But
lucky maybe get the gold tooth.
Lucky for the mouth guard. Yeah, he might have lost one and it got a bit loose, but it could have been 2 or 3 easily if he wasn't put. They didn't have that in.
Yeah.
Zorko tried the step on McKenzie.
I think there was a lot of cuts on the inside of the mouth too, Joe, because there's been a lot of blood.
Yeah.
Unfortunately for the young man as well.
But they didn't sub him out, Moons.
No, he's back on and playing.
Yep.
Tough as nails.
Stephen Martin had a piece of it. Dunstan dumped. Squeezed out by Stephen. Rewalt comes up to the wing. The boundary line was what he was after, and then in the end, his opponent Andrews was happy with it as well.
It's good play by Rewalt, wasn't it? Just experience. Taps it towards the boundary. Let him restart here. Mickey, bit of ice in the ankle.
Lining up for a restrap as well, maybe. Beams a roller. Akers. And here he is. Sub on Jack Sinclair. Armitage. Can Bruce get there for this one? Front spot Clark. Dawson was pushed out of it. Clark somehow to Schneider. Tucked into the boundary. Wants to centre it. Good crunch from Green. Took it away from Robertson. Sat on Robertson for a long time, and Robertson runs away with it. Back to Green, the man who did the spoiling, to Lewis Taylor. The 1-2-3. 15 seconds left. Won't be enough for them to score. Holds it up. But the fans are getting their money's worth here at the Gabba this afternoon. Hard-fought, tight contest. Both teams have owned the play for passages. 15, 12, 13, 14-minute blocks. And the Lions who kicked the first 5 goals of the game find themselves trailing at three-quarter time with a couple of men down. Last break for the players in hot, humid conditions of the Gabba. 12-9 to 11-6. The Saints by 9. Fans have been on the edge of their seat for most of the contest. Brisbane Lions were up and about early, but they're behind at three-quarter time. The Saints by 9 points, 12-9, 81 to 11-6, 72. It's a war of attrition in some ways. A few off, gone for the afternoon as we head back down to Cameron Mooney.
We're spot on, Duano. It is right down there for Brisbane at the moment. They are the walking wounded right now. Harwood, as we know, got subbed out early in that second quarter, went down in the first quarter, and then we saw Adcock come off with that right calf. He's been knocked out of the game as well. He's had the leg on ice. And Clay Beams with that right knee, he went down and he was out of the game for close to 10 minutes before he came back out. He's now sitting at full forward because of the rotation system. They've only got 2 on the bench at the moment, Brisbane. 25 degrees down here, boys. Can they run it out?
Yeah, that's a critical part, isn't it? Hopefully for the Lions supporters, Clay Beams can still bring some value and pop up, maybe kick 1 or 2 goals. But it definitely comes from the energy around the midfield, Jono, and that's been the key. Brisbane were able to get back on track a little bit in that third quarter. But who wants to work the hardest out of those stoppages and really use up the possession as best they possibly can? Brisbane probably had more opportunities in that third quarter, but a little bit sloppy coming forward with the ball, Jono.
Yeah, they did. Both sides really did have the opportunities. Like Weller with his miss coming forward, and just the way that last possession going inside forward 50. We know how important it is, but that will make or break either St Kilda or Brisbane in this game, because both sides got scores from turnovers from basically half back in that third quarter. But you're right, through the midfield, and Brisbane had the first quarter, they were all over it. St Kilda jumped them in the second, and Brisbane fought back through the midfield in that third quarter. So as Moon's indicated, they're down on rotations now. Well, their rotations are there, but they're down on numbers to rotate because of some injuries. So are they able to run this out? Some will have to go forward and try to keep push as a forward. You may see Robertson and Green come up through the midfield along with Christensen a little bit more in this last quarter.
Brisbane Lions have won the last 2 against St Kilda. Then head-to-head here at the Gabba, they've won 14 to the Saints 5. So they have dominated the Saints here at the Gabba. But they're behind at three-quarter time. Can the Saints get home, away from home, from the ball up? Armitage bangs it wide. Through Sinclair, picked up by Aish. Christensen lifted his rate in the third term, but leaves it behind. Nunes. Armitage. Webster. Downfield, St Kilda free. Robertson. Been a lot of momentum changes in this game. Rewalt held. He's been a momentum turner. They need someone to turn it around again, the Brisbane Lions. They've lost a couple of players. Just joined us. Rewalt's kicked 4 goals. 2 of them in the opening term to get St Kilda back into the contest after the Brisbane Lions kicked the first 5 goals of the game. Longer goes to ground. Rockcliffe feeds it out. Aish, not 15. Nunes to Robertson. Loop the handball to Billings. He bangs it. Rewalt's under it again. He let it go. Weller! I'm not sure Rewalt left it for Weller, but he did the job.
He took the risk, Weller, didn't he? Like, I was going through it. It is a risk, because if he hits that on the wrong part of the food, that could be not good at all. But it works out okay here. Once again, they win the ball back. And this man here, Billings, knows where the goals are, and that's going to sail straight through. All the boot at the end.
Inspired by the Melbourne victory. Yeah, that one.
Oh, yes, all lucky.
Not sure Billings would have been that happy if he missed that one.
That could have been a momentum killer.
Well, it could have been, but it worked out, and they got the fast start they required in this last quarter, the Saints.
I think Alan Richardson would have been a killer tonight if he had missed that one.
So back to 15 points the margin. Handy break. As the shadows creep over the Gabba on this hot afternoon, they get another clearance. And Montagna wants to go all the way himself. Rewalt back to the square. Weller's down there. Rewalt, they clash. Weller again. 2 in a minute.
What about that?
That all started from the centre square, didn't it? It was
great tap
fantastic. Weller able to get forward, and he's kicked a couple, but what a tap out there. Watch this. Set play. Montagna starts from the back of the centre bounce, runs all the way through. That is the perfect hit out to advantage. Kicks it long, puts the Brisbane Lions defender straight under pressure. Good contest there by Rewalt.
Hands in the back.
Hands in the back.
Got away with it.
Got away with it. You'll take that every day of the week. as well as he'd be loving life, wouldn't he?
Oh,
Two
definitely.
goals from about half a metre out.
Who would have thought that Weller would be the one changing the momentum and swinging it back St Kilda's way, especially playing as a deep forward.
Another hit out to Montagna.
Gets it to half forward. Lewis Taylor jumps from behind. Kick around the body by McKenzie. Aish. Good grab, solid hands there. And another Lions player down. It's Buick off the ball. And Weller tells him to get up.
Well, that's what it's been. 5 straight from inside 15 metres for the Saints this afternoon. Brisbane haven't been able to get any goals from that position today.
This is the equal biggest margin of any lead the Saints have had today. Dane Beams. And the crowd a little restless, a little annoyed with this. Had plenty to cheer about early. Stephen Martin, well, he thought about playing on. Looked at the umpire, realised it was a free back to Zorko.
Realised he was about to get tackled.
Yeah, I think that was. I think he was very lucky.
Rockcliffe, Christensen. Again, doesn't hit the target. Well, he does eventually, but puts that target under pressure. And the pressurised kick is splendid. Mark inside 50 to Leicester.
Shenton's either sore or just buggered.
Yeah.
Because he just couldn't close up Beams then. He's normally pretty quick, Shenton, when he moves around the ground, but he just couldn't close up Beams there. You just see here, he just couldn't get near him. And Beams was coming from a stationary position.
He was, yeah. He did well, Beams. It was a poor kick by Christensen, but Christensen went quick. When you go quick, you can put up with those skill errors. You can get away with it.
For his 4th. And he breathes some life into this.
He's kicked really well for goal today, Ryan Lester. That's his 4th goal. All from set shots, mainly. Just see here. So the main thing is here, Christensen goes fast. When you go fast, you've got a little bit of margin for error. Beams still had time there to correct that kick. Even though it was a bit of a sloppy kick by Beams, he still was able to get inside 50 and hit the target one out. Good lead up there by Ryan Lester. He's had a pretty good game, playing mainly midfield, but has drifted forward and helped out at obviously a smaller Brisbane Lions forward line.
Well, he's got the 4 for the Lions. Rewald's got the 4 for the Saints.
And Leuenberger in his 100th wants to celebrate it. He's in the ruck. And he gets the clearance to Christensen. To Green. Stephen Martin's forward. Good fist away Delaney. Zorko might get there before the boundary line gets it. Long towards the square. Nunes with a little fumble. Montagna.
Well defended by Brisbane there. Good manning of the mark by Paparone.
Forced him back. Sinclair stands under at the sub. Knocked away from him. Christensen got a little high. And now he's gang tackled.
Spending a lot more time around the ball now, Christensen.
Played for the free again. Longer and dispose of it legally according to the crowd. Armitage takes off. Nunes. And now Geary, if it gets to him, it does. A little wobbler. Rewald for number 5. Is he within range?
Clark knew what he was going to do then, but just couldn't quite keep up with him. He was ready for that little lead up. How many times we've seen Nick Rewald do that though? Lead back at the kicker.
To Bruce. Well, he needed one lace out to get him into the game. It's been a long time coming, but Jono mentioned, Brett Johnson said earlier, it's not his day. He just needs to have a couple of moments. Here's the first one.
This is it. This is what he needs to do. He needs to be able to produce here. That's his role. That's his job this year. He's kicked multiple goals in a number of games this year, some big bags. But this is his moment today because he hasn't been able to get near it.
To push the margin back to 21. He might be a little nervous. He's a lot nervous. And it's lucky to score.
Certainly leaves the door open for the Lions here. They've been able to score a couple of times, especially early in the game from Lions kick-ins. They can get the ball in this guy's hands. It's a real key. Daniel Rich looking to go up the centre. Has to go wide.
Longer floats in, got hands on it, couldn't bring it down. O'Brien. Lewis Taylor spent that before he collected it. Ball in, still plenty of time. 14 minutes 50. 3 goals in it, 16 points the margin. Christensen. He's played for a couple of those, gets this one. Well, Shenton was held, and the umpire saw the grab of the jumper, so Shenton will take the free. Robertson, Dempster. And will he go long to the open side? He's got a couple of options. Delivers that to McKenzie at the wide.
Oh, that's a big grab.
Brilliant grab.
That is massive. He's hurt. Clark came hard late and tried to get off, and actually they thought they were working it okay here, the Lions, to get. He just couldn't get there in time. A big body spoil, and that's a big hit. That's a strong mark.
Just strong hands, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Fantastic effort.
It was a fair-ish attempt at a spoil, wasn't it?
Yeah. That just makes the mark even more impressive, because he pretty much nearly hit that ball. Certainly made a lot of contact to the back of the shoulders.
Yeah, that hurts, and then whack flat on the deck as well. So
I think Clark's knee might have come straight through him there too, Brownie, and just give him a nice little cork in the back there.
Well, he's coming off. He can't take his kick. Nunes will take it.
First round pick from last year, Dan McKenzie.
Yeah, just his 5th game.
Yep.
you can see why with a mark like that.
Yeah, jeez. St Kilda supporters will be very excited.
Delaney to Robertson to Geary. Back in after a couple of weeks out with that cork thigh. Dempster. They still look full of run, the Saints.
Don't mind this from the Saints, Dwayne. They're just keeping possession of the ball. Right now, down on ground level, Brisbane do look a little bit fatigued now on their legs at the moment.
Stephen was wide. He really used the ground well. Where does the lead come from? He ran too far. He waited for the lead, and it didn't come.
Well done by Daniel Rich there. He never gave up on the chase. He did look tired. He's one of those tired guys that Moons was talking about, but great effort. That's terrific leadership by Daniel Rich.
I don't know whether it's just the round, but I've seen a lot more this round in terms of the umpire calling running too far than what we have so far in the season.
Got the tape measure out this round, mate.
Maybe.
Beams to Paparone. Still some belief for the Lions, and they've run it nicely to the open side. Wide ball towards Clay Beams, who's been forced to play out of full forward with a proppy knee.
It's an old school full forward as well. He's had to play about 100 metres ahead of the ball sometimes, Dwayne.
Bottom left, there's a hit here with Weller and Buick going down.
Yeah, might be a little bit in that.
Back into play. Still plenty in this and plenty on it for these two teams. Lewis Taylor picked it up, and then he was slung himself. Akers, he tries to get it out. Umpire said made an attempt. Holding the ball. Longer heads wide.
Ryan Lester might have caught one in the eye, maybe in that earlier contest.
Delaney. Untidy for Nunes. Trouble. Clay Beams. Nunes. Beams pushes him out. Holds possession. Bang. Caught by Delaney. Shovels it out to Green. He knows where they are. Can't get there in time. Dempster. Robertson. Weller. Webster. Boundary line there. Rockcliffe right with him. Caught. Crowd want ball. Taken to the boundary.
Oh, it's getting tight, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It really is.
Clay Beams would have been so frustrated there. He's trying to get to the footy, but he had to limp behind. It was a great effort. He nearly ended up getting the goal for the Lions. There's Dane, his brother, who's had another big day. 34 possessions already.
The two ruckmen tie up. Armitage breaks free. Rich did well, read it well. Clark. Robertson, he put one paw out. Trouble. Towed off the deck. Crowd screaming. They thought there was a free in that. Akers will get there first. Not the best of options.
No, it didn't work out, but at least Shenton had the courage at this stage of the game to leave his direct opponent to come and impact the contest on Robertson, which then caused the turnover back St Kilda's way, and Zorko was dangerous. He was out. If Shenton didn't come up.
Good fist away. Good attack formation. He got it out. O'Brien. Buick. There's another Saint down. We'll keep an eye on that.
Bad cramp, I think.
Okay. There might be a bit of that in this last 10, 12 minutes. Webster. Stephen Dempster. Schneider screaming for it just inside 50. He leaves it for Bruce, who's been a little iffy at goal.
Has to nail this one.
Yeah, crucial kick. It's been a bit of a stalemate the last 5 minutes, hasn't it, between the two sides. Who's going to kick the next goal probably gets it back on top, but certainly if St Kilda kick this, it's going to be hard for the Lions to come back from here. Hasn't had a massive day yet to get on the scoreboard. Kick 2 behinds.
Well, if he kicks his first, he will push this out to the biggest lead the Saints have had. He can make it 22. Goal umpire does not move.
Yeah, it's a big finish from Bruce. Now it comes back to the middle of the ground where the Lions need to win this this next centre clearance and get it going their way. But you can just see there, that's the movement from the Saints. And I think it was Moons mentioned at ground level. Looks like the Lions were just out on their feet a little bit, and that passage of play there just shows it in terms of how the Saints were able to push to the open side, and then their forwards were able to get free on transition.
Had an outstanding season. That's his first today.
Not bad for a defender, Dwayne.
Weller and Taylor just out here on the wing, guys, having a bit of push and shove. Umpire's just out to him at the minute.
Well, the Brisbane Lions need to find something here. Beams to half forward. Webster. Wobbles one wide. Christensen collects. Back pedals. Hits O'Brien. Rockcliffe. Zorko. And Shenton sees it out.
Bit of aggro there for Dane Zorko. That's the problem. Brisbane have had to pinpoint their passes inside 50 today. They haven't been able to bomb it in long. So you haven't had any key position players. Got Matty Leuenberger has played big chunks there.
Webster got there to Shenton. Rewald comes up to half-back. Good grab.
Handy return, Dwayne.
Absolutely. Missed with concussion. He's been knocked around a little, and he finds Schneider. Couldn't complete the mark. Free kicks coming back. Now Robinson's down.
Well, there's players down everywhere. There's been chaos everywhere in this final quarter.
That was a late whistle.
It was.
Yeah.
So Montagna wide. Sinclair bangs it to Bruce. Well, you mentioned, Jono, he needs a moment. He gets a chance for 2 moments in this final term and get his boys home.
Yeah, it could be his quarter the way that he's going. This is his 3rd shot for the quarter.
Yeah.
He's been able to get out the back, find some space, hasn't he, on Andrews, who has had a pretty solid game, Andrews, no doubt.
And Bruce is just probably a little bit fumbly early on. He's had opportunities. Talking to Aaron Hamill, who's the forward line coach for St Kilda before the game, and asked him, what is it about Josh Bruce? He said it's just his work rate. He's wanted to get better. That's been his attitude since he's come to St Kilda. As a defender, mind you, from GWS, but he just wants to improve.
Longer into the back of Stephen Martin.
He's got a pretty handy mentor in Nick Rewald as well.
And 50.
50 for the whistle going, then the Saints executed a handball.
I need 4 goals at least in 9 minutes. Christensen. Every Saint in front of him. Every St Kilda player on the ground, and he still pinpoints Dane Beams.
It was always going to happen. There was no Brisbane Lions players. The only tall forward there was Matthew Leuenberger, and even he led at the footy. So the St Kilda players have just got to be very careful there. They've got to make sure they're watching leading players. Dane Beams was able to lead through the traffic of the St Kilda defenders who are all zoning, defenders and midfielders.
Butler and Taylor are still going at it. They've been at it for about 3-4 minutes now.
He's got the Saints motto tattooed on his chest, Fortius Quo Fidelius. Dane Beams, part of his tattoo array. And he hits the post and doesn't score.
St Kilda supporter, was he, Dwayne?
No, I don't think so. I think just like the Latin saying.
Guys, Daniel McKenzie just gone down into the room. I don't think we'll see him for the rest of the day either. So they're down to rotation down here as well, the Saints.
Webster flicks it out. Saints searching for the knockout blow. Geary tackled by Rich. Times the enemy for the Lions as well now.
Just got to get on the move now here, the Brisbane Lions midfielders. Look for a big tap by Martin.
Robertson, well, he was caught and he didn't find his foot with the ball. That's holding the ball.
Longa's been pretty good in this quarter against Stephen Martin. Been able to get first hands.
Gee, Rockcliffe slung Montagna down after he kicked it, so it's either going to be downfield or a mark. Stephen. Faked. Takes on Aish. Andrews. Brisbane free. Christensen. So down the middle, Lewis Taylor, but nowhere to go. Stephen Martin, the 1-2. Has to run it himself. Takes on Longer. Heads in the ace direction. He left it for Beams. Plays on quickly, opens it up. No one's in the square. He needs a bounce to keep the door open. Doesn't get it.
Went past his brother, leading at the ball as well.
Yep.
Might have a word over the dinner table tonight, the boys. It's been good again. Up to 37 possessions, Dane.
The Saints fans watching at home will be enjoying this. The rebuild is on. Got a couple of fantastic recruits still playing in their reserves. Hugh Goddard, of course, hasn't been seen yet this year. Paddy McCartan has been seen, but he was brought in a little earlier than they were hoping. Thrown straight into the deep end. Got a huge upside, the Saints, and on the strength of this, even this season has an upside for them. They can creep their way up toward the top 8, even if they don't get there. Breathe some real life into their hopes for 2016.
Yeah, no, you're dead right. And a lot of people tipped him to win the wooden spoon this year, Dwayne, but it's opened everyone's eyes up. Got a nice blend of, I suppose, experience and youth through the midfield. It's important that Rewald continues to play to mentor those young key position players, especially young forwards.
Yeah, coming off a wooden spoon win last year, and they've won a few in their time. And the unfortunate thing for the Saints is when they had their few years in the sun, they couldn't steal a flag, which would have been fantastic for guys like Rewalt, well, all the players in the team, but for the fans who've waited so long as well for the premiership success, stuck through thick and thin. Dunstan, Montagna, Armitage, Loney. Umpire said that was good use of the body. Clark gets through a couple, throws it away. Ball.
It's a great tackle. And another point there too, Dwayne. I think a lot of people were surprised in the industry that Alan Richardson took so long, or sides took so long to choose him as a head coach. Very highly rated, doing a great job with the young list.
Sits it up nicely to the hot spot, but Robertson read it well. Loney couldn't get there. There's been a few now in the AFL that have done their time and finally been given an opportunity, like Philip Walsh.
Yep.
Had to wait a long, long time. But waited till he was ready in some respects. Leicester.
It's going to be interesting to see if Carlton goes down that track.
Yeah.
Dwayne.
Lewis Taylor. They need to go now. 4 goals, 5 minutes. That's the equation. Armitage. Schneider. And every second a win now for St Kilda. Sinclair has been good as the sub. Longer caught. Now they get their chance. Robinson, they've got free men. Christensen looks up. Clay Beams running back to the square, goes shorter. Stephen Martin.
Needs to get back quick here, Stephen Martin. Get back off the mark, go back. Here we go. He's been told.
Well, he'd look at the clock. He sees there's 24 minutes gone, so he'd have to know there's not long left. In fact, he's a reasonably intelligent man. Stephen Martin, by all reports, he could do the math fairly easy. Got a 99.75 VCE score. Should be able to add this one up pretty quickly. They need a goal a minute. But that could cook them.
Not even missed that.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, it works out for the Saints, but it looks like it might. The travel win too for a young group.
Yeah.
He's so important for their own confidence as a team on the road.
Was massive that Rewalt could come in and kick those 2 goals in the opening quarter.
Yep.
The Lions come out, kick 5 in a row. Who gets them back into it? Rewalt.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's great to see him back out here and playing. Everyone was hoping that he wouldn't retire. And
you did suggest that he needs to consider it if he gets another knock.
Need to consider it, but I also did pass on privately that he should keep playing if the medicos say yes, because he is definitely moving as good as any player out on the field. Even at the age of 32, 33 years old, you're a long time retired, Dwayne.
Yeah, I think that's the philosophy for Dustin Fletcher and for Brent Harvey.
You've got to look at the strength of that too. He's nearly 33. He's turned 33 this year, but if he wants to go for 2 more years, that's age 35 as a centre-half forward for 17 years, 18 years.
Amazing. Most centre-half forwards are gone at the age of 30.
Yeah, it's such a collision position. Wide ball, Bruce.
I think the key for any player, boys, is obviously the leg speed. How long can you keep your leg speed for in your career? And that's why Dustin Fletcher's been able to keep playing. Quite often for the big key position players carrying the extra weight around, you start to lose the speed, and then it really hurts your game. But Rewalt's been able to retain that.
The fans would like to see a couple more get a run later this year. See a little piece of Hugh Goddard would be nice. You've
definitely
seen him as a junior, Jono?
Yeah, mainly as a forward. He was flicked down back, but that's where he's going to have to settle in this St Kilda lineup as a centre-half back. He's a good size. He's athletic.
Some upside for the Saints. Aish short inside 50. Christensen, he knows time is of the essence. And he kicks a gem, but it might be too little too late.
That's where it comes down to that. Martin missed just before. They would have just been building a couple of goals in a row late, and you never know with this Lions side they could score.
It's been good
very quickly.
Hasn't he, Alan Christian, especially when he gets up around the ball.
Second half.
It's been great. Really classy. He goes for targets, tries to find targets inside 50 that most of his other teammates can't find. Obviously comes from the Geelong way of playing where they really play high-risk football. Really good finish there by Christian.
So 3 goals in 2 minutes 26.
Equal PB for Dane Beams today with 38.
Yeah. Taylor 32 possessions, really coming back into form.
No need to tell you, the Lions need the clearance and they don't get it. Sinclair gets there. And you come on fresh as a sub, that's what it's hoped you'll do. Rewalt stays down this time. Loney bangs it back towards goal. Only behind, but still 3 goals in 2 minutes and 6.
Only 174 centimetres, this kid, but geez, he can play.
Akers is gone again. He can't move out there. He's cramped up again. He's got the... Oh, yeah.
John, I've been watching him running around the boundary when he's coming. Every step he takes, he cramps. You know that feeling? There's nothing worse.
He's battling to get off the ground.
Stephen Martin flies from behind, but he's punched straight back into enemy territory. Schneider. Loney gets another chance. Back to Schneider. Hands it up to Robertson. There's the heartbreaker. The Saints are home.
Yeah, big punch back.
Too big of a punch, wasn't it?
They needed to... they got the sealer. Yeah, big Stephen Martin. That's a huge hit. But I've liked Snyder's game today as well. He's been smart and he's he's played a smart footballer's game, and it was early on, which was the highlight, when Leicester was having that second shot at goal, and he was smart enough to come up to the mark, because he knew he'd have to get around and kick the long goal. I've liked his game.
St Kilda's highest score this year. They'd be really happy with that. It's been led by the experienced midfielders, Armitage, Montagna, Stephen and Schneider.
Yep.
When they play well, these younger fellas in Nunes, Dunstan, Billings, Loney, they can really tack onto the back of them.
Umpires free calling it.
And you rely on your experienced players when you travel, Jono, especially travelling interstate. Your experienced players need to play well, because it's harder for younger players to get used to that travel routine.
They need to work on their starts, the Saints, though. They need to find a way to get out of the blocks as a young side when the heat's right in the game. They work their way back into it, and they've shown they can this year. But when it's on in that first 20 minutes of play, that's when they need to find a way, the Saints.
See the two jumpers that they're wearing, these two teams, Indigenous jumpers. The Brisbane Lions jumper represents the Brisbane River and the Wollongabba area, the meeting places here for Indigenous round as the Saints go forward again. And the Saints jumper represents the clans from around Port Phillip Bay, the unity between those clans. It's been a great round so far, Indigenous round. Been a lot of talk about it and the cause. The big R in the middle of the ground for recognise the first Australians, and I think there's no doubt whatsoever that it's a success that the AFL will continue with year after year, and a couple of games still to come after this. Check your local guides, of course, but there's still plenty of football to come this afternoon. The Saints, though, will take the 4 points from this one. 47 seconds and counting, and this is massive for a team on the rebuild.
This guy won't hurt his All-Australian hopes again, Armitage. Zach O'Brien's done a reasonable job at him when he spent time on him in the second half, but he still had 31 possessions, Armitage, 17 contested, 11 clearances. A couple of goals as well. That's what I've liked about the midfielders. They've certainly contributed on the scoreboard for St Kilda today.
Crowd a little disappointed with this. If you haven't been with us from the outset, the Brisbane Lions kicked the first 5 goals of the game, and the Saints had to come from 29 points down in hot, humid conditions here away from home at the Gabba. And Alan Richardson should be extremely happy with where they're headed. Won the wooden spoon last year, but the Saints are on the rise in 2015. Third win of the season.
There's that bloke, where's Alan Richardson? Just looking down there at Nick Rewalt. What a great game by the captain. Captain courageous, 4 goals. What a great return from concussion, Jono, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was brilliant, but across the board, the way they fought back into this match in the second quarter, led by their strong midfielders in Armitage, Stephen, and the young Luke Dunstan in that second quarter. They were the ones that were able to fight their way into the game and have a huge impact and a huge say on the scoreboard in that quarter, which then led to a big fight back. Then they're able to hold on. There's the thing about fighting back and then not getting overrun again. They were able to hold on, which they've proved they can do in this season, the Saints.
Cameron Mooney's downstairs, one of the all-time great centre-half forwards, a 3-time premiership star, and he's with a friend, Nick Rewalt.
Rui, wasn't a great start from you guys, was it? But what was said at quarter time, because you came out of the blocks after that and really took control of the game?
Yeah, we were evidently flat-footed in the first quarter, second to the ball, and just weren't aggressive enough on defence. You know, we were always a step off, so we needed to fix that. It was disappointing that we didn't start well, but with a young group, it showed a lot of character to fight back the way we did, so that's pleasing.
It was a massive all-round game from everybody, wasn't it? The older guys, Army and all these blokes through the middle of the ground, but then the younger guys as well. Everyone contributed today. Yeah,
and I think that's a really encouraging thing, particularly for all our supporters. We know it's been a lean few years, but really starting to see some of the fruit of that now with the young guys coming through, so it's exciting.
It's another great stepping stone for this group, isn't it? Everyone picked these guys to come last this year. Just another stepping stone to say, hey, we're here to play.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's all you ask, you know, every week to come out and give great effort and be really aggressive in the way we play. And we're playing a good style, a good brand. Still plenty to work on, obviously, with a young group, but yeah, there's exciting times ahead for the club.
What about you, Roo? You might have to get hit in the head more often, mate. You just came out and destroyed them.
I'm not too sure my family will be too happy about that.
How is the head?
Yeah, fine, mate. Been a big couple of weeks. Obviously, a lot of hysteria around anything to do with the head and the brain, which is as it should be. But the club was extremely diligent. Ticked every box to make sure that I was right to return to play, and felt good today. So that's great.
Good to see you back, Jan. Well done,
Thanks, mate. Well done.
Cameron Mooney with Nick Rewalt, and he's about to have a chat to a man who might be best on ground, David Armitage.
Oh, I reckon he might have been just about best on ground here, Roo, mate. It was a fantastic win today. Take us through the first half. What happened in that first quarter?
Yeah, first quarter we just didn't turn up to play, basically, Moons. It wasn't much more than that. The ball was there to win, and we didn't win it, and they were just harder and lower for the first bit. So it was probably the first 15 minutes, and then our leaders stood up, a few tackles, and everyone sort of started coming forward a bit more. So that's all it was, and then we started to gain a little bit of momentum, and then the second quarter we really hit back.
You become an elite pressure team under Al Richardson having you, and that was probably what it was in that second quarter.
Yeah, that's right. We can be really proud of the first 9 games. I think we're number 1 with pressure. So it's all about, and we've got a really young team, and we're rebuilding. So it's really exciting, and if we can keep putting the pressure on and maintaining for 4 quarters, which we did today, by the first quarter, we'll be all right, mate.
What about young Luke Gunston? He came off. Looks like he's missing a tooth. Is he going to be okay with the girls later on?
Yeah, I think he'll be fine, mate. I think he's got a girlfriend, but the old tooth went through the lip, that old trick. So, he'll be all right. Stitch it up, and he'll be back next week.
Mate, you're playing a great footy, mate. Well done.
No worries. Thanks, Moons. Cheers, buddy.
Saints have 2 more games before their bye. They've got the Hawks next week at Etihad Stadium, and then Melbourne at Etihad Stadium. Brisbane just 1 more game before the bye. They have GWS as spotless next week. Check your local guide. Still plenty of football to come your way around Australia this afternoon as part of round 9. But here at the Gabba, it was the Saints by 22.